Don't forget to join us at Friday 8 p.m. for Theme Park Chat. Hi everyone, it's Ryan's Adventures. So today we're bringing a guest I wanted to get on for a while actually. He's amazing. He's gone nearly all over the world. He's really high in the theme park community, but I want to find out how he got started and what drives him to go forward in all the different parks that he goes to and all these things that he's seen and rides that he's been on and everything else like that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him Sean from Lifthills and Thrils.
Good evening.
Hi, Sean.
How you going, man? How's it going?
I'm good. I was just looking back on your Instagram. This year, you've been to some amazing places already, haven't you?
Yeah, honestly, mate. My second home is an airport lounge this year. I've really gone big or gone home with delivering content this year. It's an adventure, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Because you've been I would see like you was in Abu Dhabi, literally like a couple of months ago.
Yes, it was about I think it was it February, late February is Abu Dhabi. Then we went to Dubai, and then next week I'm back in Abu Dhabi again.
Are you going back?
Yeah. I'm doing some little coverage with Miro, one of the companies out there for the new the SeaWorld opening. So going there for the grand opening of SeaWorld, the first ever one outside of the United States of America.
Oh, wow.
So it should be
amazing.
It'll be fun.
That's awesome. That's because I see like obviously what was the Ferrari, like the Ferrari land like out in there? Was it amazing, the coaster?
Yeah, it's a strange theme park because it's actually located inside of a shopping mall. So you've literally got German doner kebab, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Ferrari World. That's literally the lineup of how it goes. It's ever so strange. And then you walk through, and obviously there's naturally Ferraris everywhere, mainly F1 cars. And then the rides are all kind of tailored around this beautiful spiral architecture of the building, because the building is home to the biggest Ferrari badge in the world. And it's like located on the roof, which is like a spider with all these legs kind of branching off it. And it's very cool. And Formula Rossa was a coaster that I was not prepared for. I was like, it's not too bad. About 1 second into the launch, I was like, it's like Rita. And then we go past the camera, and suddenly it goes a little bit faster than Rita. And it just kept going and going and going. And my face was doing all sorts of Botox injected maneuvers. And yes, it was a very strange experience indeed, but I loved it. And hopefully next week I can go back on it, because Jim hasn't been on it. So he wanted to go and check it out. So hopefully we can jump on for a quick ride in between the SeaWorld stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, you went. So that Atlantis stuff that you did, the dive thing you did. Where's that? Is that in Abu Dhabi as well, or is that in Dubai?
Yeah, it's in Dubai. It's at the Atlantis Hotel, and they have something called an aqua trek, where you put on a helmet which is linked to an oxygen tank, and basically just send you down very, very deep underwater. I think it was 35 meters underwater. Don't quote me on that. I think it was 35 meters down under. We'd literally just got off a flight and landed in Dubai, and about half an hour later we were diving. So I was already quite tired. Didn't fancy doing a dive. And then the next minute I'm underwater and there's big sharks swimming around me. So I wasn't, I was too tired to be scared, basically. I was too tired.
Well, yeah, because you flew out on the Emirates plane out there as well, didn't you? So I see all the pictures from there as well.
Yeah, but it looks a bucket list kind of thing for me. I mean, always wanted to go and fly Emirates, always wanted to go and stay at the hotel, the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. And I thought, whilst we're there, and obviously all the other attractions as well, like Motion Gate, and we checked out Bollywood and IMG as well. I just thought it's something that it's like a once in a lifetime trip, and Jim was free.
Yeah, that is amazing, that trip. I mean, I was like thinking, like, obviously, what's it like out there though, like in general? Like, is it all right to go there and stuff like that? Or
before I booked the trip even to Abu Dhabi, everyone was like, oh, it's dodgy over there, or if you do something wrong you're going straight to prison. I thought it was much more relaxed than what everybody made it out to be. Obviously, certain types of things you can't do, so make sure to read up on the rules when you do go out there. But I thought everybody there was friendly. I thought everybody there spoke better English than I did. It felt like a home away from home, but with nicer weather. Everything's very westernized. They have the same plugs as us, so it already you got that sort of creature comforts from home. Yeah, so you don't need to take any. It's all like UK outlets type thing, and all the shops and stuff that you'd see over here in the UK, they have over there with a few little twists. The only thing that was different was the McDonald's menu, because they had something called the McArabia, and I still haven't had one of them.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you've been to most of the European parks as well, haven't you?
There's still a lot I've got to check off the list, buddy. Still, I'm working on it. I'm working since it was literally since October last year. And my friends Haley, Chris, and Jake, they said, "Do you want to come Energylandia with us?" And I hadn't been to any other overseas park apart from Disneyland Paris and Universal Studios in Hollywood. Those are the only two abroad theme parks I'd done up until October. Since October, I've been to about 8, 9 more of them. So I'm definitely racking them up now. And there's a few more to come as well. So I'm kind of on this determined mission to race towards 20,000 subscribers by Christmas. I thought, right, in the first 2 years, I got 10,000. And that was kind of like the first milestone for me. Now I want to get exactly what I got in the first 2 years in this year. I'm miles away. I'm miles away, mate. But I'm determined to try.
But the thing is, you've got a lot of content as well, and obviously you do get into like media events and things like that, don't you? So it's quite for you to do that. I mean, to get around with people and actually be there before anybody else gets to places as well. So you've got a little bit more sort of like for as the things are sort of like released, you're there. So it's
with having a movie website, it definitely helps with the press stuff. I think if Lifthills and Thrils was just on its own, I had a big debate about this last year whether certain channels should be invited to certain events, because at the end of the day, your content has to benefit the launch of that particular ride or experience at the end of the day. And I still feel as though my channel is very small in comparison to others who go to that event. So that's why forever, if a company's reaching out to me to ask me to come, I'm like, right, well, I have a movie website. That's my full-time job. It's a very popular movie website, and I kind of use that as kind of leverage almost to say, that my video may not get the kind of views that you deserve, but the article definitely will. And the article, anything that I do for theme parks will always rank like head and shoulders with Daily Mail, the Mirror, the Sun, all the big newspapers. My movie website can compete with when it comes to theme park and entertainment content. So I'm quite fortunate to have built a website up over many years now, where I can use that as leverage to give the parks a bit of benefit. But any event I get invited to, it's always an honor and a pleasure. But I always feel as though I need to give back. I don't like freebies. I'm always willing to either pay for something in terms of merchandise to the cost of what that entry ticket was. I'm more than happy to pay for food support and just lend financial support to that event that's been kind enough to invite me. Because I always feel as though if it's 100% free, you might be a bit more inclined to give it a better review, because you're like, I haven't had to pay. So this is amazing. This is amazing. I don't want that mindset. So I always try and give a little bit of money back. So, my opinions are more honest and more grounded as a result.
Yeah. I mean, they obviously you was at Jumanji, weren't you, for the opening of Jumanji?
Yeah, that was literally
the media day. Was you there?
So we just stepped off the plane from Park Warner in Madrid. I'd been up 40 hours at this point because I can't sleep in cars. I can't sleep on planes. And me and Scott from Your Experience Guide, we went over to Park Warner to do the Batman.
I see that as well, yeah.
So that, once again, movie website. It's a movie IP. So obviously that helped massively. They actually reached out to my movie website and not my theme park website. So I said, I've got a theme park website as well. So that was kind of like the pitch with that one. And
Wow.
we come straight back. Once again, no sleep. and he went straight to World of Jumanji. And there's an interview that I did with Off the Tracks, and I'm just there with the cap on and sunglasses. I'm like falling asleep. I was nodding off in Dan's car on the way home. It was just like, no, I was a mess. I was a mess. But World of Jumanji, I absolutely loved it. It was well worth the trip.
Yeah, I haven't been there, but is it what they wanted to? Do you think in how it is? Do you think that they've hit the button on it, like with regards to the theming and everything else like that? Have they, and the rides as well? Have Merlin sort of like with the IP got it spot on? Do you think?
I think in terms of the demographic it's targeting, it's a new family area, and Mandrill Mayhem is a wonderful little shuttle coaster for families, and especially for little ones. If a young lad or a young girl are going to go on that ride, experience the first inverted coaster for the first time, you got the spike, you've got whippy launches, you've got the thing going around the theming, you've got the sideways hang time, and very surprising amount of hang time that Mandrill Mayhem possesses. It's the wonderful first coaster for a little lad or a little girl, and even the adults are surprised by that launch as well. Not a huge fan of Mamba Strike and Ostrich Stampede. They seem very fun fairy. But I think the area overall is well themed. Once the trees grow, that's going to be a superbly diverse, lush, and immersive area as well, because that'll add more to the thing. It's coming to a point now where even the trees now, you can't really see any other area behind it. Like you can just about see the top of Dragon's Fury's lift hill, and that's it. But those trees could actually get taller and cover that up. So it's got that immersive space. Mandrill obviously goes around the circumference of the area, so it kind of feels enclosed. And I really enjoyed the space. I personally like the bazaar area where you come out of the Mandrill Mayhem and enter the shop. And it's very reminiscent of exactly what the bazaar was in the World of Jumanji movies. It's like an enclosed space. There's lots of merchandise. With it being a Jumanji themed area, they've got Jumanji IP merchandise. It's like stuff Noble Collection makes with a little replica Jumanji board, plush dolls and stuff like that. The clothing looked decent. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very cool area. And the actual opening of the area was done in a very American way. There was flamethrowers, there was fireworks. There was Scott riding, like CEO of Merlin, riding on the back of a Jeep down into the land. It was very American. It was very Hollywood. And I feel as though the UK needs a little bit of that, because our events and our press things, they just don't have that pizzazz. They don't have that introduction. They don't have that theatre, which you kind of need to get hype and to get excitement. Yes, there's a bit more of a cost involved to do the fancy stuff. But, look at World of Jumanji. It got way more press than any other ride press event that I can think of in recent memory. I think even Variety magazine over in America covered it, and they only cover like Hollywood and celebrity news. So they're definitely doing something.
Is that because it's got the Jumanji IP?
Essentially, yeah, it could be. It could be that. It could be obviously the thing with Sony as well, the licensing agreement with Sony. The only way to find out is if Uncharted at Portaventura has the same treatment, because obviously that's under the same licensing agreement with Sony. So imagine the same guy who was with Scott to be at Portaventura, because he's kind of like the lead licensing guy for Sony IP. So it'd be interesting to see kind of if that makes it over to the Hollywood press, so to speak.
Yeah, because that ride is going to be, that ride looks amazing as well when that opens. Obviously, that's going to be indoor.
Yeah.
But obviously, hope it like lives up to what to the film itself, and I don't know how immersive it's going to be, or whether it's going to just be a cup like. Hopefully it could be like loads of screens and effects and stuff in there and bits and pieces like that. I hope it's not just, a roller coaster with a couple of bits here and there. And,
with a ride like that, you especially, because obviously you don't want it too screen reliant, but you've got to have it well themed. It's got to be immersive. It can't be the Merlin thing where only one wall is themed and the rest is painted black. You know what I mean? It's got to be a full 360 degree immersive experience, and that coaster in particular I'm very intrigued to go and experience, because there'll be a coaster very similar coming very closer to home. So that's going to set there's going to be a benchmark of
you're talking about Horizon.
Might be I might not be. I might not be.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just drink my
Hopefully,
drink. I'll just drink my drink.
hopefully it does. You know, Merlin have chucked a lot of money into stuff in general. I did see that. I did see that that Park Warner. Well, some of the bits. I've not watched the video yet, but I've seen the photos that you took on your Instagram.
Yeah.
That ride it's very short, but obviously it's bat related, so it's obviously very short. But that looked pretty. It looked pretty decent, to be honest. And the cars looked very Batman-y, like extremely Batman-y.
They've made an effort with that. The actual, as soon as you step through the gates of that area, you're already in a well-themed Gotham area. I mean, some of the Park Warner theming is, it's beautiful. It really is. As soon as you step forward into the gate, the whole kind of backstory is that you've been invited into Wayne Manor for a guided tour. Like he's finally opened up, Bruce Wayne's opened up his manor for guided tours. And when you go in there, the Joker hijacks the tour that you're on, and you have to go through an escape route, which goes through the Batcave, and then you go into the subway, and that's kind of your escape vehicle is the Batmobile as part of the ride train. So that's the kind of backstory. It's a cool experience. I thought the pre-show in Wayne Manor went on a long time. It was like a 6-minute pre-show. So obviously, if you want, exactly. So if you want re-rides, you're like, come on, Joker.
It's going to be a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And but once you get into the Batcave, well, all the theming's amazing, but the Batcave theming it's some of the best theming you'll see out there. It's pretty special. The ride experience took me by surprise because every single ride scared me. Normally, if I go on a roller coaster for the first time, I've got that nervous butterfly feeling in my stomach. What's it going to be like? I had it on every single lap that we did. It's an intense coaster. Tutatis, everyone was comparing it to. Personally, I think it blows the water out of Tutatis. Tutatis has got the more airtime moments, but Gotham City Escape turns every airtime moment into this ejector airtime experience. Whereas Tutatis, you get your ejector motion, but it's just not on the same level for me as Gotham City Escape. I think the full package as Gotham City Escape and Tutatis was, for me, a little bit overhyped. I know a lot of people loved it, but I personally thought it was quite overhyped.
Yeah, because I watched that obviously when Tutatis opens. I watched like the things for your videos from there, and Tutatis does look pretty good. Who's the manufacturer of Tutatis?
It's Intamin. Same as Gotham City Escape.
Oh, so that's Intamin as well. Oh, wow. Oh, so okay.
They're dominating at the moment.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, aren't they doing? They're doing Dance Macabre, aren't they? Efteling, the little unique flat coin ride thing that's coming next year. So they're everywhere, mate. They'll be in the UK soon. I promise you that.
Hopefully, hopefully we get like some nice rides and stuff like that. You know, it's like different rides as well. Obviously, we've got Exodus coming as well, so it's going to be hopefully Exodus will live up to its expectations as well.
Exodus is exciting me because even though towards Nick Varney's last couple of years as Merlin, top dog, whatever projects, the last few, they're all hitting on different levels that we just haven't experienced before as theme park guests, especially in the UK market. I mean, Curse at Alton Manor is now that good of an area that everyone now is complaining about the rest of Alton Towers looking a mess. That's how good of a job they've done in that area. To the point where everyone else is looking at other areas of the park and going, they need to fix that. They need to do that. And it's only because that area looks so good now. You've got World of Jumanji. That's once again stepped it up. It perfectly blends in with Chessington. You've got kind of the animal vibe already around Chessington, of course. And then they've gone and perfectly added this well-themed immersive space with this beautiful Jaguar shrine with this immersive element that we just hasn't seen before. So it makes me excited for Project Exodus because of this new direction that the company seemed to be going in, or towards the tail end of Nick's tenure, it seems to be going in a more positive direction. And obviously with Scott in charge, he's got that enthusiasm. He's got that American go big, go home sort of attitude. And I think with someone like that at the helm, then the only way is up for the company, which is exciting for us as theme park guests to go and explore these really cool new adventures.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I mean, hopefully, you know, they're on the ball, because I know that he's pretty much like he wants to push Merlin forward.
Yeah,
And obviously he's got not just the UK parks.
yeah,
Merlin own a lot more than just UK parks as well. So he's obviously got the stuff over in the UK in he's got Gardaland and things like that, and obviously he's got all the other sea life centres, and he's got the stuff in America as well, and obviously he's got both the Lego lands, one in the States and two in the States, one here and one over there as well. So he's got a lot of stuff to look after as well, isn't he? So, but the thing is, like as I said, like with theming and stuff, towers need to. I think in general, the theming's good, but other parks blow it out of the world. You know, other parks in the world, people's like things like, like Phantasialand and things like that. That's that legends above Alton Towers and how the immersive the areas are.
yeah.
Different areas in the world are, different parks have got different how they look as well.
Yeah, it seems to be. For me, when it was always coming down to Merlin project, it always seemed to be however we can implement this final product in the cheapest possible way. So and the perfect example of that is if you see the concept art for the Smiler, if you see the concept art for Galactica, the initial stage where someone's got this incredible idea, it's all down in a visual state, and then you see the final version of the ride, and it's a complete night and day. So you got this beautiful visual concept art, it's very intricate, it's very well designed, it's visually aesthetically beautiful, and when it comes to final concept, it's very much scaled back from what the original vision was. 13's a big example of that. This psychoactive coaster, which you need to sign a waiver to board. Beautiful trains hidden within the forest. This gothic sort of horror experience. And what did we get? We get a kiddie coaster with driver wheels taking you up and dropping you down. Yes, the drop will never get boring, but everything else is basically a kid's coaster. Galactica with its kind of space theming, as told with all the beautiful Imascore soundtrack, and you look at it and you're like, oh, is that it? So it's very much is that it, compared to the beautiful concept art that it starts as. But slowly but surely, the concept art is matching what is being delivered by Merlin, which is nice. It's a start.
Yeah, they're starting to move forward, aren't they?
Yeah, it's
trying to catch up with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like as well, like I mean, you've got F-Telling, but obviously you've got Europa Park, which is obviously Mac, and it's owned by Mac. As well, because it's actually owned by the company, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like their testing ground, isn't it? I've still never been to Europa. I've still not been. Everyone raves and raves and raves about it. It's there and Phantasialand are my two next parks to hit at some point.
Really? You've not been to Phantasialand?
Never been to Phantasialand, but I want to do it properly. I want to do it properly. I want to stay in the Charles Lindbergh. I want to be on that first train of flight. You know what? I want to do it properly. I don't want to stay halfway down the road. I want to do it all, in park. And that's what I did with Efteling. And Efteling, like, it won me over. It was such a beautiful park. It basically felt like Disney before they went commercial. It's got that charm to it. There's that magic. There's that love and care that the people have for their park, and it's just a very rare thing nowadays. And with every other park being very commercial in how they deliver products and IPs and stuff, and Efteling just deliver that charm. It's got that charm. It didn't need huge, big roller coasters to sell me. It had charming, unique dark rides with characters that they designed themselves. And it was just a very lovely park to be in and to experience. It's just a very, very nice park. I loved it. It won me over completely.
So Park Warner, that's in Madrid, isn't it? Is it Madrid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that does that. I've not really been, apart from, as you said, apart from sort of like Disneyland, I've not been to any parks in Europe at all. I've been to the States, and I've been to like some of the parks in Florida, but I've only been to the Florida parks. So I want to get over. I think like next year, I'm going to start branching out into Europe properly and go into different things and stuff. Because obviously there's loads of things that I need to tick off. My sort of bucket list park is Phantasialand, because I think it's Rookburg and Klugheim, and obviously Africa as well. They just look absolutely. I just want to walk into that steampunk area in where Fly is and just be immersed.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's why we all love theme parks. You want to step into something that takes you away to like this immersive but almost secluded space where you feel like you're the only person in the world in this new themed and expansive area. You don't want to be going to certain parks in the UK where you look over and there's a motorway bridge or whatever. You want to be fully immersed in this experience. And those guys do it in spades. Efteling did it for me. I know Phantasialand will. I'm sure Europa Park will. Park Warner did it in spades. There's only one more Warner Brothers park left on my list, and that's Movie World, I believe, in Australia. And after going to Warner Brothers Studio in Abu Dhabi, I was completely immersed. Like, it was the first indoor space within a theme park where you look up and they've themed the ceiling. It's a digital screen that changes the weather and stuff. It's beautiful.
Wow.
So you are completely immersed. So you're not looking up and seeing air ducts. You're looking up and you're seeing clouds. You're looking up and you're seeing the Batman logo shining in the sky. You're looking up and you're seeing birds flying above it. It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah,
But they can do it over there, though, can't they? Like, because they've got a lot of money over there, haven't they? So.
Yeah, I think I was reading an article earlier today. I think the new Yas Island project where I went to
that looks amazing when that thing opens.
10 billion. There's about 10 billion all that area cost, which is it's a pretty nice sum of money to be spending on a tourist attraction. But you can see why they are more popular than Dubai, because obviously you got Motion Gate, still a beautiful park, but it's very, very quiet because it's all outdoors. And obviously with the weather over there, not everybody wants to be stuck outdoors in searing temperatures. Whereas Yas Island, you've got now SeaWorld indoors, Ferrari World indoors, you've got Warner Brothers indoors, you've got Yas Water World, which is the only outdoor attraction that I can think off the top of my head that's outdoors in Yas Island. So yeah, they've hit the nail on the head. Air conditioned inside. Warner Brothers World is like dark ride central. So if you love your dark rides, it's more than good enough in there. Some of the best dark rides in the world are under one roof. Ferrari World's for your coasters, and obviously home to the world's fastest coaster, so that's always a thrill. And with SeaWorld, and SeaWorld as well has got the new Manta Intamin roller coaster, and they've got another one indoors, I believe, called Eel Racer, but I can't remember who manufactures that. I think it's Zampril. I'm not sure. I think.
I mean, yeah, because when that new complex opens, it looks like that coaster, that big coaster is going to break every single record ever.
Oh, the one in Saudi, yeah. It's the tallest, longest, and fastest, isn't it?
Yeah,
I can't.
We're talking about it dropping off. We're talking about it dropping off a cliff or something. Like coming out and dropping out of a cliff. And
honestly, the thing is, I think out of all the countries, I'd be a little bit more wary of going to Saudi. I think that's more of the less of the tourist destination country that I'd want to go. Dubai is very touristy, isn't it? Abu Dhabi is very touristy. I don't see many people booking trips to Saudi Arabia in a rush. So I'll be a little bit more cautious going to that one. Hopefully they can build it into a resort. Because if it's like a Six Flags park, hopefully there's like an on-site hotel. I could just stay at the hotel, ride the rides, then come home. But other than that, I don't think I'll be planning holidays to Saudi Arabia.
No, Saudi Arabia, no, no, not really. Yeah, I mean, so with your, you mentioned before about your movie. I didn't know you had a movie website.
Yeah, so that's my full-time job. So basically, years ago, I had a 9 to 5 I've always done marketing. I've always been in some sort of marketing or advertising role, and I was in a 9 to 5, and I was in a really boring job. It was a gas calibration company where I'd market calibrated gas to companies that had the machines that used the calibrated gas. So basically, if you didn't have these tens of thousands of pound machines, then my job was pretty much useless. So I was marketing the same products to the same clients week in, week out. I was getting paid for it, so I'm not going to argue with that. But as far as my job went, it was pretty pointless. So on the side, I stumbled across a crowdfunding campaign for a movie over in Hollywood, starring Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And they were crowdfunding for a movie. I offered to help them out free of charge to get funding. Gave me something on the side to do, like a little project. And I said, if you do get fully funded, I want this percentage. And then we call it a deal. We struck a deal. I got the movie fully funded. I got them lots of press and attention on the movie. And as a thank you, they flew me out to Hollywood to work on the movie for 3 months. So I spent 3 months out there. I got paid. I packed my job in. As soon as they invited me over to Hollywood, I handed my notice in the next.
Yeah.
I was just like, see ya. I'm going there for 3 years. We did a lot of stuff over there. Met a lot of great people. Every corner, every day was a new celebrity, a new contact, a new person. It was a bit surreal over there. A new In-N-Out burger. That's all I ate over there was just In-N-Out burgers and Hard Rock Cafe food. And it was an experience. I got to go into Robert England's house. We all had a dinner together.
No, wow.
I met some big names.
He's
Slash,
like a legend.
Roses. It was.
I met him once in a Comic-Con in
London.
London.
Right, nice. Was it? Yeah, Showmasters.
Yeah.
His contract.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he's such a lovely guy. But you can't shut him up. That's what Rob's saying. He just talks for England. So he's got that surname down to a T. I just could say he talks for England. And I remember we were doing a Fear Clinic radio interview. And I was there with him, and he kept calling me Sean from Stoke or my Sean. And he kept trying to drag me on air with him. He's the loveliest guy that you could ever wish to meet.
Wow.
And even if I die tomorrow, I've died knowing that I've worked on a movie in Hollywood,
with Freddy Krueger.
With Freddy Krueger.
With Bob England.
And Back to Movies was kind of stemmed from that. It stemmed from celebrity interviews. My 21st birthday, my girlfriend at the time wanted something special to celebrate my 21st, and she said, why not get a few celebrities or people you enjoy seeing to do video messages for you? So I sent out a few emails and stuff, and she did as well, and we got replies, and we're thinking, okay, it's quite easy to reach out to somebody if you really want to speak to them, and got all these video messages. I started interviewing some of them, and Back to the Movies started, and then I started interviewing celebrities, got invited to red carpets, like at the Hobbit premiere down in London. So we got to speak to Ian McKellen and Orlando Bloom. And it just kind of kept snowballing. And then after that, it was BAFTA Awards. I used to get invited to the BAFTA Awards a lot in London. And seen all the people who were nominated for awards and stuff. And it was a bit of a surreal sort of background thing, which not many people in the theme park community even know that I've got a movie website. So
I to be honest, I didn't know either. Yeah. The main, because I was looking, the reason why obviously I've seen you in parks and stuff from a distance. Obviously, that was the first time I met you.
Yeah,
but I've not actually been. I don't know. I thought I've not actually gone up and said hello to you before until obviously I was with Sam, and that obviously allowed me to sit, and James, and that allowed me to talk to you because obviously they were talking to you.
Yeah.
But the obviously I've seen loads of your videos before, and then I was like, and then I see the Nemesis one. The challenge one where you went after obviously Sean Zambrook, and I was like, right, okay, I've got to try this. So I tried it, obviously, but I went on the worst day ever.
Yeah, they're busy.
I went on Roller Coaster Day, which is like 16th of August. It was packed.
I bet it was. Yeah. I think it was a Tuesday when I did mine. It was dead. It was completely dead. And then
it rained for you, didn't it, as well?
Yeah, it was about 2:00, and it was like torrential rain, and we had like an announcement over the speaker saying we may have to close this ride, because it's the bad weather conditions. I was like, don't do that. I've got a record to beat. And literally after that, that's it kind of snowballed from that. That's how I got speaking to Sean for the first time from Theme Park Worldwide. So we see each other all the time now. I see him more times than my own family sometimes. And so we do that kind of kick-started a few radio things and stuff like that. And it just kind of put my channel on the map. And it's not something new. People do roller coaster laps all the time. It's just for some reason people pick that story up, and that kind of catapulted my channel a little bit. So just think of about 10 more of those to do, and chase that 100,000 subscribers down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can do it, Sean.
I'll be about 45. YouTube won't be a thing by the time I get there, mate. I'll be about 45, and I'll be getting too old to ride roller coasters or something. There'll be something. There's always a little speed bump along my way to success. There always is.
Yeah. Well, I'm 45 in August, so.
Yeah, but you don't look a day over 37, mate.
Thank you very much, Sean.
All right. No problem. Send me the 5 related.
Yeah, I mean, because Nemi's like got a. I'm saying at the minute, I mean. There is some pretty good coasters in the world that I've been on already, but Nemi's still like on the top of my list at the minute. There needs to some. I know it's not the best. I know the original is not wasn't the best like it was a little bit shaky towards the end, but to be honest, it's just the whole thing going through them tunnels and like the 0G roll over the station. That when I rode it during that challenge, I've never sat on that back corner before, right close to the station. Never sat on that. You're so close to that station building, you roll over the top of it. That was just, it was crazy. And if you're doing it over and over again, it's like, yeah.
I made a lot of friends that day. Yeah, there was people like going around, like it was like, right, we'll come ride it with you. 3 laps later, they're like tapping out, like I don't want to do anymore. I'm like, come on, 3 laps. There's like people that I met at the start of the day who come back at the end, and I'm pulling into the station like, hey, you had a good day. Yeah, it was a cool experience, and obviously all the ride staff as well. Then literally when the ride shut to the public, I was on, I think it was 63 laps out of the 64, and they said, for your 64th, do you want to go around just on your own? So it was me and this lad that I'd met in the morning, and the staff members just closed the ride to the public and just let us go around on our own for the 64th celebratory lap.
Wow.
And
So you went, so you got one above Sean.
Yeah, just the one. And I posted it, and obviously he commented on the video and stuff, and that's how we started to get speaking.
Yeah,
because I remember when the newspaper started covering the story, they kept putting Sean Sandbrook has completed the record for 64. I was like, no, Sean,
not Sandbrook.
Because he pointed it out. They're like, he's getting pressed without like doing anything, which is quite. So it was good. Yeah, it was a good challenge. Not one that I do probably in a rush anytime soon. Someone said, why don't you do one on the Smiley? But since I caught COVID, I've got like a head condition, so already it was quite difficult. But since COVID, it's been a little bit more severe in terms of that. So maybe I don't think I'd be able to do 64.
No, the Smiler probably is not a good move.
Probably not. No, but I'm an idiot, so who knows? I might just do something like that one day.
Yeah, because I mean it's pretty. That ride's pretty tough. If you rode it so many times during the day, it is pretty tough.
The Nemesis one, you kind of, I wouldn't say you settled into it, but it got to the point where I was trying to mix it up. So if I was tight harness one lap, I'd make it loose another. If I was leaning to the right on one lap, I'd lean to the left on the other, just to spice it up a bit instead of doing the same ride 64 times. Do it with my eyes closed, do it with one eye open, do it with my arms out, do it with my arms folded, just to mix it up a little bit, just to try and spice it up a bit and see what felt best or what seat was best, because every single time I come out of the station building, I had to walk back around the queue line and back onto the ride. So I had me a little bit of exercise in between laps. But no, I'd love to actually stay on one day and just do lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's I want to, when it opens again, I'll see whether it's the same.
Yeah.
Whether it's still got that roar, whether it's still the same ride. It's obviously the track's still the same, so I don't see why it's not going to be any different.
I think there'll be a muted roar. I think they'll still get a grumble, but it won't be the iconic one that we know and love. But there's a lot more surprises in store for Nemesis. It's not going to be just the track that's different. There's a lot more in store for us. That's a promise.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Especially, there's been a lot of murmurs because Lifthills and Thrils, as you know, was the first website to actually announce that the retrack was happening. Like this was months before anyone knew anything about it. So I was getting people messaging me going, this rubbish is never going to happen, and look what happened. Funnily enough, it's the only thing that I still know about. I don't know anything else now. I'm behaving myself. New year, new Sean. Everything that I knew in 2022 is the same knowledge that I've got now. So I'm not going out of my way to find out what's coming to what park. It's basically everything that I ended 2022 knowing, then that's exactly the same now. But there's a lot of surprises in store. And even Mr. Wardley's probably holding back some secrets when I spoke to him about that potential project, because he was saying SW9 could be Project Horizon or Project Horizon, but I still think they're going to be two completely different things. I think we're in a bit of a Merlin splurge where there's going to be a lot of new rides coming to parks. As soon as Exodus opens, I genuinely think that Thorpe Park is going to have another coaster very soon thereafter. I really do.
Wow.
Not confirmed. This is just.
No. Yeah, it's just obviously people say stuff, and whether
people say a lot of things, but that Merlin are going in a good direction. I just hope that, like we said before, with all these cool new areas coming, that they focus on the old ones. The
the
Smiler
rest
is
of the
looking like
park
a
as
bag of
well.
spanners this season. Other areas of the park. Chessington, some areas are looking a bit downtrodden. Thorpe, of course. Just step it up, and then we can have parks to be proud of again. Because I feel as though this year, all people have done is complain about a lot of things. If it's not Arrowmore, which is rightly so, they can complain about that. But other areas, of the park that are just standing
out. I don't really complain about towers too much, but it's as far as I know, they can only do what they can do, as I said. But with that, once Nemesis, obviously the track goes in and everything else gets modified in there. I'm hoping that it will be, as you said, I'm hoping that it will be more immersive, that area. And it was obviously with Subterra about to open as well.
Yeah.
And I've never been on Subterra anyway.
Okay.
Hopefully that would be that area will get better. But obviously Galactica is a completely different ride. So
well, that's the thing.
It's a bit weird it being in Forbidden Valley.
Yeah, it's going to look out of place now, isn't it? Because obviously you've got Subterra, which weaves into the backstory of Nemesis. Blade just kind of does whatever Blade wants to do. I think that's going to be there till I bloody pass away, till I'm 80 years old. It's going to be there forever. And Galactica just kind of looks like a sore thumb. But there's a nice big car park next to it, which would be great for a new ride. So, it's one of them. But it's nice to have Subterra back. It's one of them rides where everybody moaned about it when it was open. It had one of the worst receptions of any ride at Alton Towers when it first opened. They changed it a little bit and reviews got better. I'm still excited to go back on it because it's still something, I wouldn't say new, but it's just something extra to do at Alton Towers.
Is it a drop? It's a drop tower, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a drop tower. It's like an actor-led drop tower and then a scare maze afterwards. It's about the same. I think it's the same model as the one they used in the London Dungeon. So you've got that kind of forceful drop, but it's nothing too crazy. It's just one of them. It's one of them. But I've just seen a comment pop up saying get rid of Galactica. I agree now. I do. I agree. It's just one of the only reason Galactica serves a purpose at the moment is for us all enthusiasts to check out what's happening with the Nemesis construction. Because it provides better views on the platform. Yeah, it's got way better views on the platform.
Yeah, I mean, because with I'm just hoping. I'm hoping that obviously the IP, like the thing of that it's massive, and they make it really, really big. Like when Nemesis does reopen, and and I hope that obviously the merchandise is really cool because Curse of Water Manor's merchandise is really good.
It's okay, isn't it? I think there's room for more stuff that they can do. I like the simple logo. The mirrors are quite a cool idea. I just think with it being a horror ride, they could spin it out into more stuff. Like I think I said on Twitter when it first opened, like imagine you being able to buy like a doll's house. And all the theming that you see in the ride, like the duck, the Jack in the Box, they could have scaled down replicas of the stuff that you saw throughout the ride, and you could theme your own doll's house. I just thought something like that would be a bit different, something a bit new. Maybe you could have Aroma Prime do the little padded sponge things and put it in the wall, so you've got like a scent infused dollhouse. Just something different. And when I walked through Curse at All Man, I was like, okay, that's all right, but it's very basic. It's very what's the word for it? It's very easy for them to get away with it. They just slap a logo on it and sell it for profit. It's a very easy and non-creative way. And all the effort they put into the ride, and then merchandise just always seems to be an afterthought, especially in the UK parks. Go to Efteling, walk into one shop, and you could buy a whole village. They've got like crafted models and clay sculptures and everything of all the rides. No. It's like, where's the effort?
Yeah.
So that's why Jumanji for me is a little better, because they're working with companies that provide the replica of the Jumanji borders. It's just something different. It might not be the best replica in the world, but it's something. It's something different.
Yeah. It's because it's an IP though, isn't it? As well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it's nice that instead of having like in-house sort of merch, they've outsourced to another company. There's some Nemesis Now stuff. They're based in Stoke-on-Trent. That's in the Curse at Alton Manor. But then you've got like soap. Like, why is there soap in there? Why is there
Mm.
sweets? Why there's just some stuff that doesn't make sense. Gargoyles, we didn't see any gargoyles in the ride, and the
Yeah.
skulls. It's like, it's just some stuff that doesn't line up. It's basically
No.
dual leftovers that they've just dumped in the shop, and there's room for expansion with a lot of merchandise. It's every Merlin park or every UK theme park.
Yeah, I do think that it does. I think in general, I mean, because the other thing that I want to ask you about, um, I'm a massive Viking fan, like in general, like to like the history of Vikings and stuff like that, and everything like that, and I'm like quite into it. And obviously, you got the obviously the games that came out. Obviously, Assassin's Creed brought out Valhalla. And that was really immersive, and it talks about obviously the areas around the UK and everything else like that. And then obviously when I went to go to Blackpool to go on Valhalla originally, it was shut, obviously because it's been shut for how long. What I wanted to ask you was, I know it's very wet. I understand that because it's a Viking ride, so it's going to be.
I'm
gonna have
I'll just have to I'll let that right. There we go. Sorry about that, mate.
That's all right. That's all right. I understand it's very wet. Obviously, it's a Viking ride, so it's going to be wet because obviously it's a sea ride. But how does it? Obviously, you went on it. You must have gone in it before and now.
Yeah. So, the old version of Valhalla was, you got soaked. It was immersive. It was a journey. The ice room was actually an ice room. There was detailed, immersive, adventurous kind of feeling where you every ride you go on, you felt like you were going on an adventure. And then fast forward to many, many, many years later, and we get a tech rehearsals ride for Valhalla. And I went through an empty warehouse. I come off the ride going, "What in the shit? What have they done? What have they done to this ride?" And everyone had the same opinion. It was an empty warehouse at the time. Tech rehearsals, they put it down to tech rehearsals, and for me, they shouldn't have opened it at all. But then suddenly the reviews week by week were like, "Oh, this has been added, this is working, this is getting better." So as soon as they announced the media day for it, I was actually excited again, because I was seeing reviews of certain effects were coming back and certain experiences had been amped up. And when I went on the press day, it blew me away. But I personally think they made more of an effort on the press day, because literally someone else went the next day and half the effects weren't working again. So it was it's one of them rides. It's very temperamental, isn't it? It's getting on a bit now. They have changed the ride system a little bit with this reimagining, but it's still an old, unreliable ride system at the end of the day. And it hasn't fixed that reliability issue, which was the main one. It hasn't fixed the water in the boats, which were the two main things plaguing the ride. But it feels more like an adventure. Like that first lift hill for me is now better than what the original one was. I'm not a big fan of the forwards drop. When it used to be the backwards drop felt more steep, and it felt more like going into the unknown going backwards, whereas forwards it's a little bit of a letdown. But you've got the ring of fire on the water, where that effect wasn't even working in the original version of the ride most of the time. And they got flames on the water where you're heading towards flames, and right at the end, the water extinguishes it out. It's a fully immersive experience.
Wow.
Not a big fan of the new ice room. Not a big fan of the beginning of the forest, but then you've got these big hammers that come down either side of you. There's lots to take in, lots going on. And when all the effects are working, it's our best dark ride by a long country mile. But if those effects aren't working, then enjoy your warehouse tour, because that's all it was on the tech rehearsal.
The thing is, like I wanted to, wanted to see whether it was actually like a proper Viking ride. Like I know the signs have changed and everything else like that, and it's a bit more, it is proper, but like whether it had like I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know. I know dark rides can be dark rides, and it's a water ride, so it's. But I know that other people have done water rides and dark rides better. So it's, it's whether it hits the mark. And if you're saying that, hopefully, if it does but it all depends on the day. If you go there and the things aren't working, you're going to come away.
Yeah, there's certain effects which turn Valhalla from this is good to oh my God, there's nothing else like it in the world. That Ring of Fire thing being the only effect anywhere in the world that can happen is on Valhalla. That's the only water ride effect where there's flames on the water that you're flying down a very, very steep drop, heading towards flames, debating all of your life choices, and then it gets extinguished at the final moment. There is nothing like it in the world. And it's very funny to me because obviously when Valhalla closed, it still won a golden ticket award for the best dark ride in the world. I'm like, how is that even possible? It's not even open, and it still won against all the other wonderful dark rides that you see up and down all over the world.
Yeah,
It's very
because
strange.
because the rest of the park is a bit bits and pieces.
Yeah,
I think
it's like history over here, modern with Icon. It needed something to put it on the world stage, and obviously with Exodus knocking big one off the top spot, which about time too. It's been the world like the UK's tallest for far too long now. But Valhalla, when fully operational, it's on the world stage. It can compete with some of the world's best dark rides and world's best water rides. And that's something that Blackpool Pleasure Beach needs. And I feel as though that's why that ride still remains today. Because at one point there was debates whether it would stay and whether it would go. And Blackpool needs a ride like that. It needs a ride to put it on the world map. Because Big One isn't going to be the tallest anymore. Icon is a good launch coaster for the UK, but go to any other park in Europe and it gets wiped the floor with. So it's one of them. They haven't got a big standout attraction. They can't keep relying on nostalgia. It's a beautiful thing for people to go and see how old rides were. Like when I went underneath the Derby Racer, just a simple horse carousel type thing. The intricacies of the ride underneath make you appreciate it 10 times more. It's insane design, and especially with the flying machines as well. You go into the store and you see the big old Victorian style wheel. It's nice to step back in time and enjoy those old school rides, especially here in this country, but they need something to put them on the map. They can't just keep relying on nostalgia alone, otherwise it'll just basically turn into a moving museum, and they don't want that. They need to stay relevant, they need to stay popular, and they need to have people coming to the park, and Valhalla is a start. But I imagine with this wheel project that was coming to the park and has now mysteriously disappeared, maybe there's a little bit more cash to splash on a new attraction that'll be here sooner than we know. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, but the only thing is with Blackpool, they've not got a lot of space, have they?
No. So I think I could see an iconic ride leaving the park in the next 3 or 4. I could see them stripping out one of the rides. I mean, when the turnstiles came in, everyone's like, well, why have they done electronic turnstiles? If that was me, that would be being used for market research, to gauge how popular certain rides are, and whichever one's the least popular will be on the chopping block to potentially go, or whichever one's becoming the most unreliable, or whichever one, So I think Nash, they're spending too much money on it. I can't see Nash going anywhere. They're spending money on it constantly, even now, to try and get it working, even though it's an unreliable bag of spanners. Just my opinion, of course. Big Dipper, they're doing all that money to celebrate its 100th anniversary. There's no way that's going anytime soon because of the money being spent on it to preserve it. So that would be something different. I could see, the arcade or the food court, maybe where Wild Mouse was, that could be a target. Steeplechase is definitely a big contender for a ride that I'd personally strip out because it's taking up so much bloody
space. Yeah, it does.
The space that thing takes up is insane. Is it really worth staying around for? Is it really worth
Maybe
it?
not.
It's
been there a long time, isn't it? They've got to look at taking stuff away, because they've not got space. So, and I heard there was some sort of rumors that Merlin were talking about building a park up there, but if they do that, then that could seriously damage obviously Blackpool. But
even the central development, the guys who are building the car park opposite Coral Island now, because their project after that is like a town space, restaurants, bars, hotels, and then they're building like an indoor theme park up near the Blackpool Tower. So it's going to be like an indoor park. It's not going to be like an intense park or anything on like a world scale, but even that will be driving people to North rather than to Blackpool, depending on what attractions are in there. If Merlin did build a park anywhere there, I would not be surprised. They're basically brought half of Blackpool now anyways. They own Sandcastles, Madame Tussauds, they got Peter Rabbit now, the Gruffalo, Sea Life, Blackpool Tower, you know, everything around there.
They practically own the seafront apart from the pleasure beach.
Exactly. So I can't see a Merlin stamp coming on it anytime soon. I think Amanda loves the park too much and she loves hot ice too much. So for that and for that alone, I think hot ice will stay there long before or long after Pleasure Beach disappears. There'll always be that theatre there playing that show, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just, it needs to have that ride on the world stage. If that means having this new ride coming in a few years to put it on a world stage, that would be cool if there's money there, of course. I was very surprised when Blackpool announced last year that it was one of their financially most profitable years. I was very surprised because for large periods of time, the park seemed deserted. There was posts almost on a weekly basis saying, there's no one here. There's no one here. So it was very strange when they said it was, I mean, good for them. It definitely wasn't from Journey to Hell, but I'm not going to go into that. That's a 2022 issue and not a 2023 issue. But,
yeah.
Valhalla World Stage, it deserves to be back. It deserves to stay reliable. I think that's going to be the tricky thing moving forward.
I mean, Amanda Thompson, she's like, you know, I think she's got trying to move it forward.
Yeah,
very, very, very sort of like well. She's trying to do it, and you know, as much as she can, I guess. With what she's got.
It seems like communication at Pleasure Beach is a bit hit and miss. I mean, we know Amanda loves going on Twitter and saying some funny things, and it just seems as though some things she just kind of diverts to other people to do so she can focus on the tasks that she has as a CEO, like a manager, sorry. And it's just one of them. I mean, she's obviously got the passion there. It's a family business. She wants to do the family business proud. And I can see Pleasure Beach improving. I can't see Journey to Hell improving, I have to be honest. But
all right. I've never been on it, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're not missing anything, mate. Just close your eyes and walk through some cobweb somewhere. It's the same experience.
Right.
Just hopefully they invest wisely. And central development is also another exciting project, and hopefully they can feed off one another instead of one dominating the other. It'd be nice if everything came together and turned Blackpool into a thriving resort once again. Because
Blackpool needs a boost.
It definitely
needs a massive boost. Yeah,
slowly but surely
back into it.
Yeah, slowly but surely it's having more stuff coming to it. I believe there's a well-known chef is bringing a restaurant to Blackpool. They've got the new Holiday Inn being built, the new train station development. There's all kind of stuff happening towards North Pier and around the tower and everything. You've got the central development, which is another exciting investment. It's getting better slowly, but I think it's going to be a marathon rather than a sprint. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, exactly. With the you know, he's talking about, obviously you're talking about Gotham City Escape. What sort of like ride is that? Like, is it all outside or inside, or?
There's you basically, obviously, you board the station inside this makeshift Gotham subway. It's very well themed. You turn a corner, there's a pre-show, and then you get a launch section. And after the launch section, everything's outside. Absolutely everything. And then right at the end, there's a little spike. You roll back down into a post show. So it's like another little show before you pull into the station, and that's it. So yeah, you've only got the beginning and the end, which are shows that are based inside the building. The rest is all outdoors with onboard audio. And a lot of people were saying about obviously the top hat with the ride holding you so long at the top, but the onboard audio kicks in. Haven't got a clue what they were saying, all in Spanish, but it sounded great. If that was in English, and you'd know exactly why you were hanging over the edge. There's kind of like a stall or something that I presume from when I could listen to the audio, and then you just kind of kickstart it again, and then it kind of throws you over that top hat. It's a beautiful little section of the ride. When you watch it from off ride, it looks a little bit slow in places. When you're on the ride, oh no, hold on to your potatoes, Dr. Jones. You're in for a thrill ride. It's insane.
Yeah. All right, so you've been like most of the places, obviously, that you've been to, obviously. What's your top coaster in the world?
See, everyone. I get asked that a lot, but I never know because it changes. So it's like I like different elements about certain coasters because I always feel like they need to be in two categories. You've got your thrill category, which is like, oh my god, you've just turned my pants brown category, and then you've got the I'm immersed in this ride and I appreciate it sort of category. And
Right, yeah.
it's just something as simple as the Batman arm at Warner Brothers in Abu Dhabi. I was sitting on a robotic arm, but I'm flying around Gotham on this Batwing. I'm fully immersed for the 3 minutes that I'm on this ride. I'm Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm fully immersed in this experience. So I
Yeah.
always feel as though they're very hard to toy between. But in
Yeah.
terms of a ride that scared me the most, I'd have to say it's not my favorite ride. It's not. But a ride that scared me the most is Gotham City Escape because every time I felt uneasy, I wasn't confident of going on it. It felt very excited. It felt very edgy. It felt like I was going to die every single inversion we were doing. I've got to stay closer to home in terms of nostalgia. I'll just say one answer for you without going off on a tangent. I'll just say Nemesis for now. But there's other rides out there that have blew me away as well. But I've got to stay loyal to Towers.
Yeah,
So,
to Towers, yeah.
Yeah, I've
got because you're from Stoke, so you can't.
I am, yeah, for my sins, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously you've been on the radio at Stoke, BBC Stoke, as well, haven't you?
I'm going on it all the time. They're fed up of having me on there, mate. I've like before this year, I think I've been on BBC Stoke 3 times in about 7 or 8 years, and this year alone, I think this is my 4th time. When I was on the other day talking about the horror museum, I was like, I bet they're fed up of me.
Yeah, for you, it's a massive journey for you, isn't it? Like in general, because obviously just I've been able to obviously use, promote yourself as you do, and with the actual, obviously the movie website as well, and obviously use the theme park side as well. For both, so you can hit it from both angles if there's like an IP or that involved. So
exactly. I've just realized, mate, that my screen looks like an old VHS TV, so I'm going to turn the light on for you. So
okay,
I've got like a weird fuzz going on. There we go. That's better. I think that's a little bit better. It's this MacBook. It's got a terrible camera. I need to upgrade it. But yeah, the experience is it's been a whirlwind experience because for me personally, if I look over my life, it's like I've achieved this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. And it's all cool things that I can tell people about in the future. Like if I have kids one day, it's like, oh, daddy went, it's stuff that I'm so proud of. But at the same time, I feel as though there's still a long way for me to go, a lot for me to achieve. I still have goals that are way too unrealistic. But I'm always trying to get there and try to get to achieve them. Movie website could go from strength to strength like it has been doing for many years now. The amount of opportunities that's just given me alone, the places that I've been, the people I've worked with, these are like people that I'd watch on TV as a kid, and next minute I'm meeting them or interviewing them or sitting next to them or going to basketball games. It is crazy. And with the theme park thing, it was very much a case of last year was let's churn out as much content as possible to get noticed. How can I stand out in the community? How can my usually honest, unbiased reviews kind of step up and get the audience that I'd like? And this year's more about how many places can I visit and how far can I take the channel? It's a journey.
I suppose as well, like you have to be sort of like you can't be totally. You've got to sort of be when you're talking about theme parks. You've got to be a little bit, think about what you're going to say, and also, don't be. You can't diss them too much.
Thing is, I won't say the name of the park, but I did have a nice, interesting call from a marketing team at a very popular UK park that was basically saying, "Sean, stop being so critical of our park." I was like,
"Oh dear."
Yes, I'll stop doing shit, and I'll be more favorable. But I have to be honest. But the thing is, if I've ever come out with a negative review, you watch any video where I've done a negative review of an event, I'll always find positives or rooms for improvement. And that's what's stressing me out so much now, because obviously I'm opening a horror museum later in the year. We're on a tight budget. Everyone knows that Sean loves his theming. So if they walk in there and they see that the theming just isn't up to their standards, they'll be like, well, this is Sean. He likes theming. What's he do? He's doing this wrong. Thought he liked theming. I'm finding out very quickly that it's not always as easy as it seems. But if I had a theme park budget, it'd be very easy. So I can still be critical of that park, because I know I'm starting to find out very quickly now that budget obviously plays a very big factor into it.
It does.
But
So,
I just want that immersion for people. That's all you want. Because think of an attraction in the UK. There's not many you can think of that you step in and you're like, I'm fully immersed. There's always going to be that hit and miss with a lot of the UK attractions. And I just want to create a space where people walk in, and maybe it won't blow them away. We're not at the budget to blow people away with like insane Hollywood theming, but I want people to walk in and go, oh, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. That's the reaction I go for.
Yeah. So right. So I didn't even know this now. So when I haven't listened to the Stoke video or anything like that. So I don't like the BBC Stoke stuff. So I'm not really not recent anyway, because I just started a new job. So I've not really been looking at social media too much. So can you say anything about it, or where it is and stuff like that? So obviously I can publicize it for you and try and
so basically the Museum of Horrors, it's a venture that I am at the moment. I am marketing, consultation, and cross my fingers because we haven't signed any paperwork at such an early stage. I hope to be a partner if they will have me on board, because I feel as though I'm lending a lot of contacts and stuff and ideas to make this museum something special. But at the moment, it's marketing, consulting, advertising, creative side that I'm doing, and business development of an attraction that's coming to Stoke-on-Trent later in the year, where people will be able to celebrate all things horror movies and horror-esque things. There's going to be interactive experiences. There's going to be immersive things that you wouldn't expect to see in Stoke-on-Trent or even in the UK. And you're going to be surrounded from head to toe in this Gothic building that we've purchased or rented, where you're going to be fully immersed in your surroundings, and you're going to be surrounded by Hollywood history. So a little slice of Hollywood in Stoke-on-Trent. It's going to be something very different. We've got celebrities on board behind the scenes with certain things. You're going to be walking in, and not only will you be celebrating horror movies, but you'll be surrounded by some very unique things from the films themselves. So you can be a part of it. There's going to be stuff where you can walk in and you could be immersed in certain areas. Try not to give too much away here.
Of course. You can't give spoilers away.
I'm just trying to get it to the point where it's something very different. Horror attractions, there isn't many permanent ones here in the UK. There's the wonderful House of Frankenstein down in Bath that I can think of. You've naturally got the Scare Maze route with Passage del Terror. You've got a horror cafe also in Blackpool. You've got the True Crime Museum down south, a Bizarre Oddities Museum down in Hastings. So you've got like Little Dean Jail. They've got like a really weird collection of stuff. One of the weirdest museums you'll ever see. They got a witchcraft museum down in Cornwall. So you've got dotted horror attractions around the country, but I want to step it up. And that's
the thing is, that's what I mean. I do like museum stuff, and whether if it's authentic, I'm very much like, I like sci-fi stuff, and I've been to a lot of sci-fi museums and things like that. And to see a horror museum and to see immersive stuff in there, I'm not so much of the fans of people grabbing me, but I don't really like I've avoided sort of like Fright Nights and Scarefest for a long time. So but I do like horror films in general. So if it's like, I'll go to have a look and see, once it opens, I'll go and have a look and see what it's all about and stuff like that. And it sounds, obviously you can't let too much away, but it sounds really, really amazing. And I'd definitely like to see what they've done there.
I'm looking forward to it. It's nice because obviously I'm pitching my ideas to them, and Gemma and Craig already own an attraction in Stoke. They own the Haunted Museum. They're paranormal investigators. The Haunted Museum is one of the best ranked locations in the UK for paranormal stuff. So it's like one of the top 10 UK attractions for paranormal visitation. So the Haunted Museum in Stoke. So they've run this attraction. It's doing very, very well. It's always busy, and they wanted to branch out with the horror museum. And obviously I've pitched ideas. We've got a basic blueprint of what we want that attraction to be. But my concern and my ongoing concern will always be people walk into museums. What do? Picture, seeing it, leave, and they don't come back. So I need to answer the question of why should you go to the horror museum? What's keeping you there? And why on earth should you return? So those are the three questions that I'm trying to answer.
That's the thing. You want to get people to come back, don't you?
Yeah. So that's
because like you want like something to. It's like obviously I know the parks are different because they've got rides and stuff.
I knew that phone was going to ring again. I'm busy tonight, mate. I tell you, I'm busy. That'll go off soon. There we go. I put it on like a 2-second cut off thing, so because I knew I was having the interview. So if people ring, then it cuts it off after 2 seconds.
Yeah, it needs to be immersive enough to get people to come back. And I know what you mean, like to make sure I think that's why obviously the parks are doing events and stuff to make sure that they keep stuff alive. But as long as it, you know, if you're involved in it, I'm sure that it will, and if you're giving them ideas, I'm sure that it will be, you know, relevant and try and keep it moving forward, if you know what I mean. Like, so people do go, because I mean, I want to go. I don't get up. I mean, obviously Stoke's not that far from Towers, so, but you know, it's not far to get to really. It's not like going to Blackpool. So it's, if it's there and it's there, and if I go, you know, if I go and they go, oh, you can get a ticket for this, and if I like it, I'll go. Actually, I will get like an annual ticket, or if they've got one or something like that. If I liked to just go back and see it again, if it's immersive enough, and if it's obviously got more, you know, more stuff in the future as well. You know, like updates and things like that, and.
They're in a good position where they've got that Haunted Museum attraction. So if you like paranormal, I'm a skeptic myself, but there's one thing that happened in that building that still to this day I can't explain. I've tried every scenario in my head of, you know, it could be this, it could be that. There's stuff in there that's happened that I just can't explain. I still don't believe in ghosts. I'd spend a whole night in there on my own. It wouldn't bother me at all. I just can't explain one particular thing that happened. But having that attraction and being able to potentially tie it in with the horror museum is great, because obviously you've got your more serious paranormal stuff for all you budding investigators or people who just want to explore like all these haunted artifacts in one building. And then literally just around the corner, you've got the more, I wouldn't say easy horror experience. It's still going to be an uneasy kind of feeling in there, but it's more of the entertainment. It's more of the commercial venue where people could let off some steam in an immersive horror environment. So you kind of got the best of both worlds there. I'm just hoping and praying we can get it up to a standard within the budget we've got, and we've definitely got some great people on board at the moment. And the future's exciting. It's just a lot of pressure because obviously of how critical I've been of certain attractions. As long as my horror experience is better than some of the big parks, I'd say that as a win for me, because they have a much bigger budget than we have to start this entire attraction from scratch.
I mean, what do you think of obviously, like say for instance, obviously like you've got like the Ghost Train at Thorpe Park.
Yeah.
Obviously, the new one that's obviously Darren Brown's gone.
I'm excited about that, though, to be fair. I think it's going to be a more of an actor-led experience, because that's kind of how it's been pitched at the moment in terms of how they've worded things. It feels like it's going to be more of an actor-led experience, but I think it'll be more immersive because VR was okay, I've got a big clunky screen on my head. Where's the immersion? I've clearly got a big clunky screen on my head. There's no immersion. I don't feel like I'm in the like Ready Player One, for example. That got all of our hopes up. That movie did for VR. Put these goggles on, and straight away you're like,
I know, I love that film.
yeah, it's a beautiful film. I love it. It's an amazing film. But it
Yeah.
got everybody's hopes up about VR. It's like, I'll put this on and straight away I'm like in a new world. No, you've got a big clunky headset on. It's weighing your head down. And half the time the screen's dirty at ThoughtBox. You can't see nothing anyways. So as soon as those are gone, now we'll have actor-led experience.
Yeah, it's gonna have, if the VR's gone, it's gonna have to be, it's gonna have to be like a Fright Nights, but in that building, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll still have the train sequence. Maybe the view screens or something else to replicate the fact of you traveling and moving without you having a headset on. But I wouldn't get my hopes up. I'm definitely not going to get my hopes up because it's a quick turnaround at the end of the day. But because Alton Manor was a quick turnaround, and that surprised me a lot. So who knows? It could be great. It could just be okay. But I definitely think it's going to be better than Darren's Brown. I really do. I just think it's going to be an improvement. The second those VR headsets have gone, I'm like, it's already better.
Yeah. I think that it should be a lot better. I think definitely. I think it should be a lot better in general. Hopefully, that it was. So hopefully, anyway. Yeah, it's been with everything that you've done, it's like, it's mind blowing, really. Like in general with your stuff that you've done.
I try. It's stressful. That's why I wear caps all the time, mate. I'm losing hair by the minute.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I will see you in the park somewhere, hopefully.
Yeah.
In some point, it'll be good if we can catch up at some point. Obviously, probably be at Towers because it's probably the closest one.
Yeah, it's my second one this season. I've only had my pass for 2 weeks, and I think I've been 12 times or whatever. Yeah, it's about 2 and a bit weeks I've had it, and I've been near enough every single day. So I'm posting content from other places, but whilst the video's going live, I'm usually at Towers. So it's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hopefully that things are going to be moved forward everywhere, and hopefully it'll be a lot better. Like we'll get a lot more immersive stuff and everything like that. I think
I'm writing off Mardi Gras. I don't think it'll be great. I'm writing off Oktoberfest. I don't think it'll be great. But just to see Curse at Alton Manor again at night time for Scarefest, already it's an improvement on last year's lineup. Already, I don't even need to know if there's new mazes coming. I hope there is, because Altonville Mine Tours had a bit of a clear out, so maybe there is a new maze coming. But I just think Curse at Alton Manor at night time is just going to be such a cool space.
That's going to be brilliant, isn't it? That whole area is going to be awesome at Scarefest.
Yeah, it really is. I think, personally, if I was in charge of Alton Towers, I'd scrap all the other events and I'd literally just have Scarefest, fireworks, and Christmas. I just feel as though Festival of Thrills was a bit of a wasted opportunity. I just think the money could go elsewhere. It's like, tidy up your park, don't give me half-assed events, and it'll be happy days for me.
Yeah, because it was, by the looks of the videos that I see coming out of Towers for that, it was for the Smiler Takeover. It wasn't that great, even though it was all centralized in X Sector. But
yeah, the X Sector stuff was great. It was just when they dotted it around the park, and it was like, well, you've just put a little bit of wood here and said it's Smiler themed, and nothing else was taken over. And then I brought out a video saying all the stuff that I'd add and change and stuff. And it just seemed to fit the park a little bit better. It's just a shame that Festival of Thrills was even a thing. I mean, like I say, Scarefest should be the big ticket. Fireworks. Like who out there, the general public and enthusiasts, who out there is going to make the trips? Like, Festival of Thrills is happening this year at Alton Towers. I'm going to make the trip up from Cornwall just for it. Nobody's going to have that conversation. It's just not going to happen. Scarefest, maybe. Yes. Fireworks, 100%. Christmas, yes, because it's a magical time of year at the park. But no way is that conversation going to be like, let's go to Towers because of Oktoberfest. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, because Thorpe Park's got Oktoberfest as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Thorpe Park actually do. But Thorpe Park's weird because their Oktoberfest is in a very small, condensed space right by Darren Brown, but it actually worked. it actually worked in that space. Whereas Oktoberfest at Towers, the first time they did it, that the front lawn was quite vibrant and full of actors and stuff. And then the second year that they did it, it was a little bit of dead space. And it's just a shame because it is a big park and it's very difficult to spread an event out that wide without investing a lot of money. But there are simple things that they can do, like the Festival of Thrills idea, which they could do to, having the Oblivion screens tweak and change to like Smiler theme, or the Wicker Man pre-show being hacked by,
the Smiler. Imagine it going around with like Smiler face on it or something.
Just
or
little things, because you had the audio takeover, which was great, saying, the Smiler is taking control of this, this ride, and literally that was just it. You just had the audio, but no sort of visual aesthetic to match this takeover that they were doing. So it just seemed like a wasted opportunity to me. But it was fun to see a magician, a contortionist, and all the other weird stuff down there. It wasn't much for the singer. I thought the experimental fear thing was pretty cool. It was quite wacky. It was wacky and cheesy, which is exactly the marketing behind the Smile. It was wacky and cheesy, but they should have just kept it in X Sector, or just not done it at all. But
so I think that I know you said, I think they should bring, maybe the Sanctuary back or something like that.
Yeah, any of the older mazes, the Boiler Room or Boiler House, I think it was called, Sanctuary. Subspecies was awesome. It was probably the most intense maze that I've ever done at Alton Towers. And then suddenly they got rid of that, which was arguably at the time their best scare maze. Like, it was the closest to an actual scare maze. The attic is a beautiful space to walk through, but it's not particularly scary. You've got what's the other one now? Darkest Depths. That's great for a younger audience. It's actually a really nice walkthrough set, but it's not particularly scary again. I mean, if you're having a scare event, you should have a nice range of mazes. So you've got your family-friendly ones, which is great. Keep Darkest Depths, but then have one that's a bit more of a step up, a bit more intense, and then have like the adult-only one, which is like really intense and where they can grab. Pretty much like Chessington. Everyone goes on about Chessington's. Is it Halloween or something?
Halloween, that's totally immersive. That place.
Everyone says that's absolutely nuts, and people are like being carried out of the maze and stuff. So where I'm going this Halloween. I want to go and check that out and see what it's like.
Yeah, because because there's like a after. So they do like a normal maze, and then after they do like an after dark maze, which sounds a bit weird, but it's like it's like another level, and you have to sign a waiver just in case because they grab you and chuck you.
That'd be great. I'd love that. It's like the scariest one I've ever done is Lost Souls Alley in Krakow. It was genuinely terrifying. They tried to force feed me tablets. They locked me in a coffin. They sat on my friend's back and rode her around the room like she was a donkey or something. It was nuts. It was a completely nuts experience. It was intense, but you actually felt like you're in a horror movie. And I like that. I like pushing my boundaries. I like pushing whatever fears. I like doing that. I kind of I feel immune when I go through a lot of the UK scare mazes now. It's kind of like, oh, I've seen it, I've done it. But there are quite a few good ones. Like Kent Scareground was incredible this year. Fort Amherst, I believe it's pronounced, was like through these old caves in a fort. And we were in there for about half an hour in the scare experience. That was incredible. Just ones, or the lesser known ones that make way more of an effort than your big parks.
It's like Tully's as well, isn't it?
Tully's is incredible. Yeah, can't believe I forgot about Tully's. I loved Tully's. Is like American.
Yeah, and I see that you said about. I've not been to any of their thing, but the horror circus. That guy died, didn't he?
Yeah, John. Yeah, it's. That was.
I see you had pictures of him as well, didn't you?
Yeah. So I spoke. This was a couple of years ago now with my movie site, and I messaged John and I said, "Oh, the Circus of Horrors. I've never seen it. They're coming to Stoke. Could I do a video with you guys?" And he messaged back. He was like, "Sure." He said, "Why don't you join the circus for a day?" And I was like, "I'm game." So I went down to Stoke before the show, and Jade, one of the showgirls, was there, and she was like, she contorts into like a bottle, like she comes on stage in like this bottle, and it's insane, really small little bottle thing, and they tried to shove me in there, and I just couldn't get my fat ass in there. And next one was a sword swallowing thing, where I think his name's Hannibal Helmerto, is a sword swallower. And he basically got the sword, put it down his throat, and then gave me a coat hanger and said, "Why not try, this is how we practice to swallow swords." So I had this coat hanger down my throat, and he was like wiggling it and stuff to try and get my throat. Yeah.
Oh
So I
wow!
had that video up on my movie channel for ages, and it's on Lifthills
Oh
now, but it got
yeah.
loads of views on movies. But when
If you
Lifthills,
send me your link to
yeah,
that on
yeah,
Instagram, if you do that, direct message me link the movie one. I'll
yeah,
put it on the description of this
yeah.
because I want to actually I want to check it out myself.
Yeah, no, it's
So
so cool. And John was so nice. It was so warm. We had an interview afterwards as well on stage. And I can't find many interviews actually on YouTube with John. So to have that, and after he sadly passed away, it's nice to have that content with him so we can celebrate his memory, because he created something incredibly unique. And yeah, he'll be missed by a lot of people. He was definitely a pioneer in this world of the macabre, and they did a lot of shows at Tully's and all around the UK. And
yeah,
yeah, he
because
was
he did do Tully's, didn't he?
yeah,
Did
he
he do
did Tully's,
Tully's?
he did the Howl. Yeah, a genuinely wonderful person, and he'll be missed by a lot of people. Yeah,
Yeah, because obviously, it does it look. I mean, what I've seen of it from pictures and stuff, it looks really cool. It did
oh
look
yeah,
really cool.
it's insane. I think they're doing a tribute show in his honor soon as well. So I don't know when that's going to be announced, but
Oh wow!
I'll definitely be there for that, because yeah, he was a great person, started something great, and yeah, I just think it'd be a nice way to pay a tribute as well.
So do you get sort of like immersed into that? So do you just sit and watch, or do you actually get involved with
Yeah,
it?
so it's basically like some people do get involved. I think there was one act where they had a nail. They put a nail up the nose, and
Oh
they go,
really?
yeah, and someone in the audience has to go and pull it out, and yeah,
Oh wow!
yeah, they got like it's almost like a freak show crossed with like a circus. It's crazy. Got like
Wow!
guys jumping on ladders, and there's like people like doing fire breathing. They got sword swallowers. They got like strength things. They got a bit of comedy thrown in there. Yeah, it's a bit of everything. It's very weird. I'd suggest having your dinner afterwards, just in case.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, because it the most of the obviously the horror stuff is a little bit out there, isn't it? It's got to be
yeah.
a little bit above, everything else when it comes to like freakiness.
Well, that's the thing. That they're the guys who started it all. I mean, obviously you've got the American freak shows and stuff, but you got nothing like it here in the UK. And every show they do, I think a lot of them, actually 90% of them were sellouts. People love to go and see this. People have this weird fascination. It's like why scare mazes do so well. Everyone's got that obsession with like being scared or facing a fear, and it's the same going watch a freak show. It's like, can they freak me out? How much will I be freaked out? You're almost kind of testing your own boundaries by going to
Yeah,
see shows like that, and I loved it. It's great fun.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, it sounds like that. It would be a good thing to see.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%
Yeah.
recommend it. 100%. It just for me, it won't be the same without John. But
No.
all the acts are incredible from around the world, and they'll do him proud. I know they will.
Yeah, because because he was the ringmaster, wasn't he? Was he a ringmaster?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What when you went to when you went on to Tatis, what did you feel? What did you feel with that? Like in general with that ride?
Thought the queue line was really well themed. Come off the ride and was like, done. Don't fancy going on it again. Genuinely, all the hype I'd seen on Twitter, I was like, oh my god, two tires, like best ride in Europe. It was like, oh my god, it's gonna blow you away. And I come off and I was like, oh no. I was like, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I was like, I'd literally rode Osiris before the B&M invert, and I thought Osiris was better. We went on Tonnerre de Zeus, the wooden coaster, so you can ride it forwards, and on the back row you can ride it backwards. I thought that was a better roller coaster. Two Tatis is a good addition for the park, but it just didn't blow me away. And there was people saying it was like better than Taron. I haven't even been on Taron, and I know that it's
No, Taron's.
I've not
I mean,
even been
looking
on
at
it, and I
Taron,
know it's better. I just know it's
yeah. I mean, looking at Taron, obviously that's got that upward spike thing, isn't it? Like
yeah,
the spike. But looking at Taron's far more immersive because it's got the
yeah,
theming in Kluckheim, and it's missing rocks and and it's got 2 launches, but they said the second launch is more powerful than the first one.
Yeah.
And you've got lap bars on that as well.
Yeah. Tutatis starts out with well good theming. So you start out in the theme station. You got the beautiful light effects as you launch out the station, and then you've got the themed walls. It's like, okay, this is cool. Then the second those themed walls end very quickly, it's just bare for the rest of the ride. There's no immersion. If there was on-ride audio or just something to keep you engaged in that experience, then it'd be a better experience for me. But after the top hat, which is very great, I love the backward spike, and I love that bit. As soon as you get to the other side of the top hat, I'm like, I've checked out. I'm done now. Yes, it's got airtime moments, but they're not airtime moments that blow you away. They're just that tiny little butterfly. I just come off and I was very underwhelmed. I'm not sure if that's because everyone hyped it up so much, or it was just
everybody hasn't they? They really did push it to say.
Whereas Gotham was the complete opposite. As soon as I got off, I was like,
I've got to go on Gotham. I've got to go over to Madrid now and go on Gotham because
you really have. I mean, Gotham is a crazy roller coaster. It is. It's great. And you come off, it's basically, you know me, I've got short patience, very short patience. Yeah, I went round again to watch that 6-minute pre-show. And I went round again to watch that 6-minute pre-show. And I went round again to watch that 6-minute pre-show just to experience this ride trying to kill me. It was insane. The POVs don't do it justice. Off-ride definitely doesn't do it justice.
No.
It's worth
being on it, isn't it?
Yeah, Tutatis is the one getting all the hype, and that one's kind of going under the radar. It's a great roller coaster that deserves some love. And it's
is it because it's like, was Tutatis hyped up a lot more?
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though it is. Definitely. I mean, this is obviously from just a community Twitter standpoint. I mean, I don't spend all my days on Google, on forums, looking at Tutatis fanboys. You know, this was simply from Twitter feedback and community feedback from that opening weekend or opening day. And it just seemed hyped up to another level, whereas Gotham City seems to have gone under the radar a little bit. But me and Scott were the only people from England at that press event, so maybe.
Were you? Yeah, I mean, Scott goes near enough everywhere with you, doesn't he?
Well, not necessarily. That was actually me and Scott's first trip too. Away together. He doesn't live too far away from me, so we met up and decided to go to Park Warner. It was a last-minute decision. I literally booked my plane tickets 2 days before the invite. It was a very last-minute decision. They said, "Sean, do you want to come cover it on your movie site?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll see you there."
Yeah.
And then literally, I just said to Scott what flight he was on and tried to book seats really close to him and ended up getting a seat right next to him. Yeah, that was pretty much. That was the first trip away with Scott. Usually, it's with Jake, Haley, and Chris.
That's it, Chris, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, that's what I got it from. It's normally Chris.
Sometimes I go with Adam. I've tried to meet as many people as possible. Ryan from iCoaster, I met him, Zoe, and Josh the other week, and we all went to Towers together. Just try and meet as many people as possible. And it's crazy because funnily enough, I'm quite antisocial. Like if you see me, I'm normally quite reserved and to myself. Whereas this year, I feel as though I'm speaking to a lot more people and meeting a lot more new people. So,
James is Coaster Chicken. He's just said, is that the Circus of Horrors? Yes, James, it is. We was talking about the Circus of Horrors.
Yeah.
And he's saying that the station looks amazing on Tutatis.
Yeah, station is amazing. It's a small station though. It's very small. You got the queue line theming outside, which is great, but the station was much smaller. I thought it'd be like maybe a pre-show or like a long walk-through area. It's very small. As soon as you get into the first bit of the cave, you're basically in the station. So it's a very small station. It looks great. You can't deny that. It looks great. The lighting effect is great. The trains are comfortable. The ride experience will satisfy every person who goes on it, but it just didn't blow me away because I think
not like it. So will it take a lot to with Gotham, to anything to make?
The only downside with Gotham is that when you come out of the really beautiful themed walkthrough that you've just gone indoors, there's no theming much outside, so it's very much relying on the onboard audio, but you're going through it so quickly and you're passing over themed areas anyways that you don't need as much theming in certain places because you're already flying over parts of Gotham. The theming's already there. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
You don't need as much reliance on theming. It's very much like Fly, where all the theming's already around you. It's part of the area. And that's kind of where Gotham kind of lends itself. And even on the POV of the ride, you can't see much of that theming. So it's a shame. But the onboard audio does a great job of doing that. You're traveling through at some speed, so you haven't really got a second to appreciate anything around you anyways, because you're going that quick. But no, I loved it. It's just one of them experiences where I could never get bored of it. It was one that was
when I see the pictures of your, obviously I see the pictures of the ride car and that, and that looks amazing. That going as it, I watched the video as it goes out, and then obviously you've got. Actually, I'm looking at them because they're on your Instagram's beside me here, and I can see it. But then you've obviously that top hat looks pretty cool as well. That top hat as it goes over the top there looks really, really cool. So it and especially the ride cars look insane. They look like Batmobiles.
Yeah, brilliant. They've done such a good job with it. And then at the end, when you come into the station, there's like all lighting effects and stuff. And it's the full package from an interior standpoint. Exterior, I probably would have added a little dot in a theming, maybe a little bit here and there, but you're not spending long enough in your surroundings to really pick up on that.
To watch it, to look around. You're just going through the rides really quick.
Yeah, you're basically just saying, please, harness, stay on for God's sake. And no matter how tight you put the harness, you still had that ejector airtime. I put it as tight as I could. And however the seats are designed, like a bucket shape, you've still got that gap. So you'll always have that ejector airtime, which is incredible. And it's insane. I love it more than Two Tatis. Other people may have different opinions, but for me, out of the two, it's the Park Warner coaster. It's a clear winner.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously when you've got that ride that's opening up in Europa Park, the one to do with Tesla, and that thing looks insane.
It does. Well. I think that might be my first trip to Europa Park when that opens. I think it'd be best to go when that's open so I can do everything. You know what I mean?
Because it's going to be based obviously around Tesla, and also, but that is supposed to have a flying cinema as well. I understand.
That's strange. It's got a bit of everything there. It's like Mission Ferrari. It was like in Abu Dhabi. It was like, right, you're going in. It's going to have a theater. It's going to have this. It's going to have a tilt track. It's going to have a sideways drop. It's going to have, it's going to have everything. And it did have everything. But in that case, Mission Ferrari was a good ride. But I think it was just too much. It had too much going on to the point where if they just dialed it back and simplified it a little bit, it would have been a much better experience. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't go out of my way again to go back on it. Like if I'm there, obviously, which I am next week, I'll go for a cheeky ride, but that's only because Jim hasn't been before, and I'm like, Jim, you've got to do everything whilst we're here. So I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean that you've got. I mean, I watched that. I'm to be honest. I'm a massive Formula One fan, and I would love to go to Yas Island for a race.
Yeah.
But obviously, having that ride there, that's obviously that is the fastest ride in the world at the minute. I would definitely like to go on there at some point. James, Coach Chicken's asking you, Warner Park or Portaventura?
I wouldn't know yet, dude. Portaventura, I am going for the first ever time at June for the launch of Uncharted. So that'll be the first time I ever go to Portaventura, which is great because obviously I've got all the new rides there to explore. I've got Uncharted to explore. I've got the Ferrari park next door to explore. So naturally, I can only say Park Warner at the moment. But who knows? Portaventura could really surprise me. It could be something special with Uncharted. Like I said earlier in the conversation, whatever's inside that building in Portaventura for Uncharted is going to be very close to home in the next couple of years in terms of ride and experience and all the other stuff. Yes.
Yeah. We'll keep a lid on that though.
Yes, I'll try. I don't want another phone call.
Not too many spoilers, please, Sean.
No, try not to.
The thing is, I like to know about rides and I like to see like the inversions and stuff. And like it's a bit like Jumanji. I've tried to stay away. I mean, I've watched videos of it now, and I'm thinking, and I've seen the coaster go round, and I'm thinking, I haven't been on it yet, so I'm thinking, like, am I going to like it? Because I like Jumanji as well, and I like the IP of Jumanji, as we've talked about before. And seriously need to, I seriously need to see whether if it's going to be amazing or not.
I enjoyed it, and I was very surprised with World of Jumanji. It was just an immersive, family-friendly, fun experience with a great first coaster for kids in Mandrill Mayhem, a great area for the bazaar, and yeah, I'd say that regardless, it's just a nice space that people can enjoy. The one thing that I didn't like was the two flat rides. It just felt could have been maybe a little bit better, and charging £14 for a turkey leg.
Yeah.
Why? Why? According to Ben, there done that. It's absolutely delicious. I'm sure it is. But £14.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Aramark, what's going on?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. James is just asking. So obviously, Joe's in the chat as well.
Mr. Theme Park
Insanity. Yeah, and he's just asked James what the Valhalla press event was like. And obviously, you were there too, right?
Yeah, it was good. I have a feeling they made more of an effort for our ride experience than they did the day after, because a lot of people were saying the effects weren't working the next day, and we got Ring of Fire. Like, I thought I was going to die. I've never seen that effect before, going down that big drop with fire on the water. I was like, so something's gone wrong and something's leaked. Like, we're all going to die. I've never seen it before. And then we just hurtled straight through it, and yeah, that was insane. Like, that was the best version of that particular new installment of the ride, and I couldn't have asked for a better install. But it's got to be reliable. It's got to be every single person who goes on that ride has to have the same experience. You can't have one ride for another and one ride, it's two completely different versions. Everything's got to be.
It's got to be.
It can't be. Yeah, they've even got a special booth with a guy inside it now controlling the fire effects manually, and yeah. It's just one of them. He's got to be there all the time. He can't have a day off. He can't go for a sandwich and like 100 guests don't see any fire. That guy's got to be super glued to the seat, pushing those buttons. It's because you can't have hit and miss. It's got to be consistent. And otherwise, people are going to come off and say they didn't enjoy it. And then some people are going to come off saying it's the best ride in the world. And then we get Twitter drama. Nobody wants Twitter drama.
Have you been to Movie Park?
Never. Want to go.
Oh, right.
Never been to the one in Germany and haven't done the one in Italy yet. But after going Warner's and stuff and getting a taste of movie parks in general, I want to do them all, man. I want to do them all.
Because I'll tell you what, for an IP, the world of Harry Potter in Universal Studios is unreal.
Yes.
The two dark rides in the castle and in Gringotts, they're incredible.
Yeah, one's a robotic arm, isn't it? Same as
the one in the castle. That's a robotic arm.
Yeah,
and that is absolutely like you're flying with Harry, and
that's cool.
There's multiple screens, and you've got animatronics and screens, and it's totally insane. But Hagrid's the motorbike ride, that's totally amazing.
I want to go to Velocicoaster as well. I want to go Universal and check out Velocicoaster.
Yeah, I haven't been on Velocicoaster. That was last time I was there in 2019. That was being built.
Yeah.
Velocicoaster. So I've never been on Velocicoaster. I've been on the Hulk.
Okay.
And the rocket one, the immersive one. I've been on that as well. But yeah, Hagrid's that's what 13 was supposed to be.
We don't talk about 13 anymore.
No, let's not talk about 13. Yeah, that's what it was supposed. That was what it's supposed to be. So yeah, but it's the area as well. Like it's so immersive as well. Like the train ride on the Hogwarts Express and things like that. It's totally like out of this world. It is proper immersive, and if you ever get over there, it's awesome.
I can't. I just it's on the list, but I genuinely think I'm going to be over in Abu Dhabi for their Harry Potter expansion before I go to the one in Florida, because that's coming next year. So unless I can get
the one in Abu Dhabi,
so Warner Brothers, the studio, the indoor Warner Brothers Yas Island, they're having a Harry Potter expansion, and the area
that's going to be insane.
Yeah, like because they've got the ceilings, like I said earlier, they've got the ceilings that they can change the environment and have dynamic weather and stuff like that. So if they can get a themed ride, praying for a coaster, they need another coaster in that building. All the dark rides are perfection. The coaster that they've got at the moment is great, but they just need one more big ticket coaster in there. And if that's themed around Harry Potter in some sort of themed land, it's with the money that they've got over there to be playing
Yeah,
around
they've
with.
got a lot of money. So
Yeah.
if the Harry Potter, because obviously J.K. Rowling is very, very much, she's when they did the IP for when Universal did the IP for, even though it's a Warner Brothers film,
Yeah.
Obviously Universal got hold of it, and the IP for that is really good, and she made sure the details were down to the absolute minute, like literally every single detail was perfect.
Yeah.
And if Yaz Island have got an expansion, that is going to be insane.
Yeah, and but the building itself is mental. Like it's already the world's largest, and I'm not sure if they're extending it or they just got enough space in there already. But just to have another Harry Potter experience, so I'm quickly converting to just living over there. And the idea of just spending time over there excites every time I go. I'm excited to go, and I rarely get that. If I go to one place, I normally when I go back, I'm like I'm a bit null to it, like I'm a bit numb. But with Yaz Island, I'm just like I could go watch an F1 race if I want to. If not, I could go cycling on the track. I could go to the mall. I could do this. I could go to the water park. I could go to Ferrari World on the fastest roller coaster. If I go down the road, I'm in Dubai. It's only 40 minutes away. If I get really adventurous, I'm going to go ride a camel. So it's just mental. It's nuts over there. I really love it. And I can't recommend enough people going over and checking it out. I mean, people have their reservations about certain laws and things over there.
As you said, yeah.
But it's for me, it was absolutely fine. If you're a bit more cautious, just do some reading beforehand. But I felt nothing but felt at home there. Same with Dubai. Everyone was friendly. The staff were incredible. It's a warm place. Can't beat it if you want a nice suntan.
Yeah.
The ride theming is incredible. There's going to be some cool projects in Dubai coming soon. Motion Gate's getting an expansion in a couple of years, so that's going to be extended even more. So it's just a cool place to be. I really enjoyed it, and I'm hooked on traveling now, buddy. I mean, I'm racking up travel miles like crazy, like you wouldn't believe. And
I mean, because I do like going into areas. That's one thing. Like when as you said, when we talked about obviously Europe, immersive areas is I want to be. I feel. When you walk into the area and you get chills down your spine because how good it is. That's if I go to a theme park or something or a place or a dark ride, and you get that, then that you're in a it's worth the going all the way out there to do it.
Yeah, the only place that's happened to me in the UK was Tornado Springs at Poulton's Park. Went on opening day, walked in and went, whoa, like who's designed this? Like it was just like so completely different from what I expected from a UK park. It was a solid area. It's a very impressive area. I loved it.
James said, what IP would you like a theme park to be based on?
Oh, an IP.
A whole theme park on one IP.
Yeah, a whole theme park around one IP. No one's done Pokemon yet.
No.
But not new Pokemon, not making up them as they go along them on. The original ones.
The original Pokemons.
Yeah. Maybe throw in a few new ones, but a Pokemon land themed to some sort of Universal Studios, Nintendo Land type cartooniness. I think that would be pretty great. Like a Pokemon land, I'd love that. I think that would be so sweet. And it's crazy how even now, from when was it, 1998, Pokemon, somewhere around there, it is still
Pokemon, popular.
It's still one of the biggest like animated franchises out there today. Pokemon Land. It's still relevant. No one's done it for whatever reason. I just think that'd be really sweet.
I reckon, I mean, because they're obviously you've got obviously like the Nintendo stuff in California, but obviously you've got Epic Universe opening up in Florida, and obviously that's going to have Nintendo in it as well.
Yeah.
But then you've got a Fantastic Beasts area opening up in Epic Universe as well. So, and a monster thing and other things, and so that's probably going to be really immersive as well, because when the states do stuff, they do stuff well.
Yeah,
as well,
I think it's a worry with UK IPs because World of Jumanji, for me personally, fits Chessington. It's a zoo. It's got that jungle. It's the perfect IP for a park like Chessington. But like when Alton Towers, there was a rumor going around of a Ghostbusters IP for Cursed at Alton Manor. I was like, please God.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, it's like, no. For me, Alton Towers does not suit IPs. But yeah, Pokemon Land. Literally, whoever's in the chat right now, I can't see nothing. It's all on. You just whatever the chat is popping off. We need it to pop off. Pokemon Land. Let's get it done. Let's go catch them all, baby. I'd love that. It'd be so.
Yeah,
so...
everybody is saying that Pokemon. They want. Yeah, Pokemon is a brilliant idea.
I just think I don't know why it hasn't been done already. Like, just think you could have like interactive things where everyone like grabs a Pokeball and there's like maybe, I don't know, AR or just something that's involved where you can capture these AR battle stations, or you can have battles with other people in the land and riding rides themed around it. You know, straight away the theme tunes in my head. I'm thinking like of greeting Pokemon. There'll be holograms and stuff. Oh,
that would be awesome. But who? But the only thing is, who would do that though? That's the thing. Who would be behind that?
Because have to make some phone calls. Once I've done this museum, mate, if it's a success, we take it from there. From there.
By the way, guys, obviously, as Sean said, I don't know if you've seen Sean's. Everybody's in the chat, obviously, because obviously Coastal Chicken, he's from Stoke.
Yeah.
And obviously Culture Literal, they live in Stoke. They live around the corner from Towers as well. And they Sean's promoting a horror museum in Stoke-on-Trent. And it's obviously next to round the corner from the
no pressure.
What? Yeah.
The haunted museum
from the was it the paranormal building? I don't know if you've been there, and also the Coastal Capturers, they're from that area as well. So they've been there. So Beth, have you been to the paranormal place then?
It's had a lot.
And James is saying he can't wait for the museum.
Oh, thanks, man. It's no pressure. It's one of them things where I've said so many mixed reviews about a lot of UK horror stuff that it's like if people come to it now and they'll be like, oh well, Sean needs to do better than that. I just don't want that. Like I said earlier, I want people to walk in and I want them to be very surprised. Like, it's in Stoke, you know, it's not the tourist hotspot of the country. So there's walking into something that's very unsuspecting, and they're going to be surrounded by Hollywood in Stoke-on-Trent, which is weird for me to even say out loud. And it's got to be immersive, it's got to be interactive, and it's got to be an attraction where people come out of the door and wanting to go back because they've either missed something or they want to experience something else. And we're going to try and fit as many things under one roof as possible and just try and make it a very unique experience. There'll be little winks and nods to your favorite horror stuff. But I'm looking forward to it. It's a great project. And obviously having the Haunted Museum around the corner, we can tie those two attractions together, like I said, where you've got your paranormal experience, which is more serious kind of investigations and things like that, and a very creepy space with a lot of creepy artifacts. And then you've got the horror museum, which will be a celebration of all things horror with a few interactive elements as well. So, yeah, it's a fun project. I hope that people come down. And when people in the community have messaged me about it, I might just leave them off for a few months and make sure they come down when I feel as though it's ready to be seen. I don't think
as soon as you know, so when it opens, will it be not 100% and then
there's going to be a few things because of how big the building is. There's going to be a few things that we keep under wraps for next year as well, but for the most part the main bulk of the attraction should hopefully be open later in the year, but it's going to be constantly evolving. I don't want an attraction that is stale for so long. The perfect example of that is the Potteries Museum. in Hanley and Stoke. It's other than a Spitfire expansion that they built and completed last year, they haven't had anything new in there for as long as I've been alive on this planet. They had the same stuffed animals. They've got the same pots. They've got the same this. They've got the same that. So I just want something that's constantly evolving so that if you go for the first 3 or 4 months, it'll be different for the 3 or 4 months afterwards. So there's reasons to come back.
In the museum, there's not going to be scare actors in there, is there?
No, it's not something that I want to go down. It's a building. It's not going to lend itself to. I'm not going to say
Scarefesty. It's not going to be Scarefesty. It's more horror museum.
There's going to be maybe places within the building that are going to be uneasy or uncomfortable to be around. I want that feeling of unease. I want that feeling of uncertainty. Budget dependent, of course. I want people to feel as though they're in a horror scenario. I want them to feel as though they are in their own little horror movies, so they can take home a little piece or to be interacting with a little piece of Hollywood and horror history.
Oh wow! I think you've got. I mean, James and Lindsay are going to go as long as there's not got scare actors in there.
No scare actors.
And like a lot of people, Lindsay said she drives past the building and can't look at it. Is it freaky from the outside then?
Not really. No, it's the actual.
Was that the paranormal building?
Yeah, the paranormal building is just a blacked out building. Like, it's very ominous. You don't know what's inside because it's all blacked out. So it's basically when you go in there, it's they've done such a good job of creating that atmosphere. But there's stuff in that building that I just can't explain. It's very creepy. The haunted museum. I'm a skeptic. I'm constantly volunteering to do the stupidest, bravest, whatever they can throw at me, and I'm always trying to find ways to push my own limits. But there's some stuff.
They're saying is there going to be merchandise for it? You don't know.
I'm not a big fan of merchandise for specific attraction, dependent on how it pans out in the future. But there will be stuff that you can get at the attraction. I'm not saying it's going to be merch. There's going to be a lot of things that we're working on with a lot of people behind the scenes that's going to be available for people at the attraction. I'll say that much.
Oh, wow. Sam Coaster Tog's in here as well. He said he's definitely going to go.
Sweet. That's sweet. That's what I like to hear. The thing is, I'm going to try and be there as much as humanly possible. I think once everything goes forward and we sign on the dotted line, everything's official and we open, it's probably going to be my second home. I'm going to be there quite a lot, so it'll be great to meet people coming down specifically for the attractions.
I'll definitely come up and
reactions are. Yeah, it'd be great.
I'm definitely going to come up and have a look at that. I don't know about the paranormal place, but definitely the horror museum. I think.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do it yet. It could simply be at the moment with how the attractions because obviously with it being a building with like a narrow staircase and tight rooms and stuff at the moment, it might be group bookings, same as the haunted museum, so you can come in with a group of friends and you'll have that entire building to yourself. We could be doing that. We could just be opening a certain area of the building with the rest being book only. We're not sure how we're going to be doing it yet because obviously the size of the building does lend a few issues here and there, and there's another experience that we're creating as well, which could be like a group booking thing. But yes, I can't say too much. I just want it to be good.
Of course. Good. Yeah, keep it under your hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, has anybody got any questions for Sean before because it's been like 2 hours now?
That has flown. I'm so sorry, everybody. If everyone's watching from minute one, I'm so sorry. I talk too much. I wanted to get you in to get your general view of everything, like theme parks and. It all started when I was 1 year old.
Yeah. He said, is there going to be updates via YouTube channel, or
we can't spoil too much, obviously.
Can you just do obviously
we got the radio interview. There'll be little snippets and things, but with everything
drop things and things like that. Yeah.
There'll be little teasers mainly on the Instagram. In terms of YouTube stuff, I potentially was thinking about doing how we built this sort of series. which probably would be released much later after the attractions opened. But for now, it's going to be very low-key stuff. Every couple of months, we're going to be speaking to like a horror name where we'll have like a horror face or someone from the industry speaking about certain things, their careers and the films they've worked on that may potentially tie in with the museum in some way, shape or form. It's just trying to hint at things without giving too much away, because it's got to be something different. It's got to be something unique. And it's got to be something that constantly evolves. I don't want people going away, walking out the building and going, right, I've seen it, I've done it, I'm never coming back. I want them to be
that's what you said before, yeah.
I want them to be like, I've seen it, but in 3 months they've got this coming, or in next year they've got this coming. It's got to be something that's constantly evolving, because that's the only way to keep an attraction going.
Yeah. So you've answered this question with me, Ivory, but James is asking you anyway. Saying your favourite coaster, but obviously you said about
I've got to stay loyal.
And the other one.
Yeah, there's 2 brackets, buddy. So there's the bracket of which coaster is going to dye my pants brown, and there's which coaster is the most immersive. And there's lots that fall into both categories, but I just keep it plain and easy. And I'm just going to say, for loyalty and loyalty alone, Nemesis at Alton Towers. Even though there's better coasters out there, there's much better coasters out there, but I've just got that nostalgic attachment of. The Corkscrew was my first big roller coaster. The first ever roller coaster that I did was Dragon at Legoland Windsor. I cried all the way through it. I remember that. I remember my dad in front of me turning around going, Sean, you're okay? I was like, no, okay, Dad. It's like, I want to get off. And it's the only reason that it freaked me out is because in the queue line, it said, this is an intense ride experience. I remember that sign as clear as anything.
What Nemesis?
I cried my eyes out. Yeah, for the Dragon.
As you said, like, there's big things coming from Nemesis. No spoilers.
No spoilers. There's big things coming. It's not just
guys,
the track.
There's big things coming from Nemesis. Big things. By the sounds of what Sean can't tell me what.
It's the only thing that I know about. I don't. Subterra's done now. 6 months ago. Subterra have done that. That's out the way now. That, like I said, I don't get involved with any of the gossip from this year's projects now. Basically, everything I knew in 2020.
Or Horizon either.
Yeah, it's just coming to fruition. Yeah. So everything that I knew in 2022, I'm not finding out anymore. I'm done with rumors and stuff. It's got to be solid stuff now, and I won't be reporting on them anyways.
So Sam's asking what park you're off to. Obviously, you're going back to Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
I'm off to SeaWorld, aren't you? Yeah, back off to SeaWorld for their grand opening. Doing some work with Mural over there, and so people check it out. It's the first SeaWorld outside of America. Largest aqua theme park indoors in the world, and should be good fun. And I get to ride a nice Intamin coaster as well whilst I'm there.
Yeah. By the way, you have to check out Sean's video on the new Escape from Gotham, because that ride is insane. It looks insane. It absolutely. I love Batman. Yeah, that thing looks. Check out his Instagram as well, because it is totally. It looks amazing. And it's I like to. I want to go to Fantasyland because it's theming, but that looks awesome. And Park Warner definitely pulled out.
Yeah, if you love movies and you love theme parks, there you go, Park Warner. That's it. That's
so Beth and Andy are asking your favorite horror film.
Nightmare on Elm Street, 100%. That was the only film
I've ever watched. England.
I've been like this behind a pillow. Yeah. So Nightmare on Elm Street was my favorite horror film.
First one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah. A Red Hollywood Monster, which was Robert Englund's autobiography. Literally a few months later, I was in his house and we were going over how we're going to plan a movie together. Yeah. Even just saying that out loud.
People that haven't been at the chat since the beginning. Sean met Robert Englund. Obviously, through because Sean has a movie website.
Yeah,
go and check it out. I will put it once I get it from Sean. I'll put it in the comment below, and you'll be able to check it out. But Sean promotes movies and everything like that, and check it out. He's been to Hollywood and everything. Been to Robert Englund's house, everything.
It's nuts, honestly, man. It's nuts, and like even though the film. There was loads of things behind the scenes with the film. We made a film basically, and that was my positive thing. The film wasn't what I wanted it to be, but we made a film. Some people liked it, most people hated it, but we made a film.
What was it again?
It was a film called Fear Clinic. It had Robert Englund in. He had Fiona Dourif from the Chucky series and Thomas Dekker, Brandon Beamer. It was directed by Robert Hall, who sadly passed away last year. He did a lot of work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff like that. And we had a great team of people behind it. It was a good thing to be a part of. Not the best film in the world, of course. It stemmed from a series that did incredible on a show called Fear Net years and years ago. And it was good fun. And without that film, without that opportunity, my movie site wouldn't be around. Lifthills wouldn't be around, because Lifthills started from Alton Towers thinking, well, I thought Wicker Man was to do with a movie. I thought it was themed around the film. So I messaged them. And then they invited me and said, no, it's nothing to do with the film, but come down anyways. And that's how Lifthills started. Basically, an invite that went wrong. Yeah.
Right. They say, so James is asking, if you could shut a park in the UK, which one would you close?
Just to put it out of its misery, Pleasurewood Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd build houses on there. I think they're of the same mindset too. It's definitely looking, every time I see it, every couple of months, that someone's building houses on there. It looks like they're even preparing to build houses on it as we speak. You can just tell. It's going very Camelot, put it that way.
Yeah. And then, so Jess, Mrs. Coaster Capturer, said, are you going to Yorkshire Scaregrounds this year?
I'd love to. I want to. I think there's one up north called Psychopath as well. I wanted to do that. And obviously Yorkshire would be up and around there as well. Love to do that again. I loved. I think they had a maze last year called Dollhouse. I think that was Yorkshire Scaregrounds. Wanted to check that out because that building was really immersive. You step in. The 2 years ago when I went, it was like stepping into a hotel. It was beautiful. There's loads of stuff I want to do. I want to do the True Crime Museum. I even want to do the cheap vampire attraction in Whitby. I want to do all the cheesy ones.
Oh, the cheesy one, yeah.
Yeah, all the little ones I can find. Obviously, I did House of Frankenstein. I actually enjoyed that. Very expensive to get in, mind you, but it was a good attraction. There's quite a few little horror ones. I want to go back to Fear at Avon Valley. 100% love that. Tully's definitely. The Howl definitely. Yorkshire.
He's saying he's loving. So James said he's loving your stuff coming out of Towers, and then the Coastal Literal saying they've practically it's their second home because they live right on top of Towers, so they're always like doing stuff to do with Nemesis.
I hope you've invested in some binoculars. Then you can just sit at your window.
I haven't been up there. I've not been able to get up there for so long, and that's the Nemesis is like. I love Nemesis so much, and I can't wait to get back there and see that track actually in person because it does look. It does what I've seen from pictures. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely something different.
James is asking, what's your favorite coaster manufacturer?
I've been speaking to Intamin a lot recently, so I'll say them because they're very friendly. And Mac, Intamin or Mac? Intamin. I'll go Intamin. I'll go Intamin for now, but there might be a coaster conversations with someone Mac related in the summer. So if they say yes, then it'll be Mac. But until then, it's Intamin.
Well, because obviously Mac are doing Exodus, so
they are indeed.
You'll probably be, if you get nice tidy with Mac, it'll be nice and
that'd be great. Thought Park for some reason. Thought Park is the only list. Like obviously with me movie site, it's helped me to get on the lists and everything. Thought Park are the only ones that are not on the list, and it's a shame because some of their press events are actually like better than other Merlin parks. It would be nice to go and check one of them out. But like I said earlier, if I do go press events, I'll buy merchandise. I'll buy something equivalent to that ticket price to support them. Merlin don't need the money. It's more of a principle thing with me because I feel as though if I'm getting something 100% free, then I can't give my honest opinion because I'm reviewing it as a free product. Whereas if I've parted with some of my money, then I'm like, oh, I can give it a more balanced review now because they've taken some of my money.
So Adventure Times is saying, how many Intamin coasters have you been on this year?
I don't even know.
Too many, right?
Too many. Yeah, I don't even know. Like Formula Ross is Intamin as well, isn't it? So yes. Too many. Too many.
That coaster's just insane, though.
Yeah, the thing is, as soon as it pulls into the station, jets come up out to spray the wheels with water because of how fast it goes. They have to cool the wheels down. So you get these little jets after every lap that spray the wheels, and you see all the smoke coming off the wheels. It's great.
Really?
It's like, what am I stepping into right now? About 3 seconds later, you find out exactly what you've just
that must go through some serious. Is it ever? Obviously, it goes through downtime. It must go through downtime.
They must have wheels on top of wheels to replace that on a weekly basis. It's
it must have new wheels like every week.
Yeah. But as far as intimate coasters, too many, way too many.
Especially that new one.
Yeah, so it's got Tutatis, Part Warner's, Formula Rossa, even 13 in Rita because they have been on them this year. Oh, it's too many. It's too. Oh god, I'm getting
the thing is Intamin as well, isn't it?
It's such a good manufacturer.
Yeah. Sam's asking, are you going to be at the Ocean of Subterra?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I think I'm not going to be in the country. I think they've got a preview the night before. I think. Not sure if that's staff or for press, but I'll be away then. But I literally, because I'll be down for Thorpe Park's Ghost Train opening, and then the next day I'll be at Subterra's public opening. So, yes, I'll be there. I'll be looking forward to it. If it's as cheesy, as funky, as well themed as it used to be, then great. If it's got added stuff to pave the new storyline for Nemesis, even better. I'm looking. I don't know why I'm looking forward to it because I wasn't really a big fan of it before, but I think it's just because it's coming back. I've got like that FOMO.
It's a new immersive, and if it ties in well with Nemi, then it's going to go well. One thing I want to ask you as well: when the new Nemesis open, are you going to try and break your record?
100%. 100%.
Can I come on there with you then?
If you really want to.
Can I do it with you?
Find a quiet day, sit down, buckle up, and
I think we just have to wait for all the hype to go away. Obviously, once it opens, there's going to be loads of people going to it.
Wait till it dies down a bit, and then
go for it. Yeah. So that's a date, Sean. Right? Me and you, we're going to see if you can beat your 64 in a day. On a quiet day, on the new Nemi.
It's a date. No candles, though. No candles. Not doing
it. What else? Let's have a look. James is asking where you can see that film. So the film that I think you're talking about the Robert Englund film.
Oh, Fear Clinic. You could probably buy it in every charity shop in the world now for about £1. But if you go on Amazon,
it's probably on Amazon or it's probably on Amazon. You probably download it on Amazon or something.
I think you can stream it off a few places still. It was Anchor Bay that took over the film rights and distribution. So yeah, it'll be Amazon and streaming platforms, but you probably pick it up for £1 somewhere now. It's an older film now. It's not great, but you can look at it, and then when the credits roll, you'll be like, I bet that guy. That's the guy that does all the coaster crap.
So obviously Dal, he's coaster capture himself. He's saying, can he have the picture of you and Coaster Dan at some point? I don't know what he's talking about.
Can I have a photo? Yeah. Basically,
with you? Is it with you and Coaster Dan?
This is funny, right? Because this is funny. I'll tell the story because Dan might, even if it just Dan smiles, that's all that matters. And Dale, this story is for you as well, buddy. So Dan, lovely Dan, Coaster Dan, I met up with a girl at Alton Towers, and Mr. Coaster Dan went into alpha male mode to try and impress said lady and come up to Dale and said, Dale, do you want a photo? As though he was a big celebrity. Got his phone out and took a photo, right, with Dale, right in front of the girl we were with, just to show off. And I haven't made him live it down since. I don't know why he did it. I have no clue, but it was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. And it was great.
That sounds mad.
I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he suddenly thought he was Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know what was going through his head. It didn't impress her. I know that much. She still speaks to me almost every day still. And,
does she?
Yeah, but it was funny. It was very, very funny.
They're asking, what's the movie you're looking forward to this year?
Movie?
Saying Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Will he still have the magic? Who knows? We'll find out. Guardians, I was looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Did you see it?
Normally not a big Marvel fan. I kind of checked out after Infinity War, but Guardians is the only kind of series of Marvel movies that I still watch now because I feel as though there's still that love and that care to do with the characters. It doesn't kind of branch off too much in that Marvel copy and paste format. There's always some sort of grounded note to all three of those movies. And the third film, I thought it was a really nice, solid installment. And that for a third movie, that's quite rare. Whereas Fast and Furious 29 or whatever's coming out soon is just gone off on a tangent and completely into absurdity. But yeah, Guardians was the one I was looking forward to. Other films coming out, not so much. Indiana, yeah, I can look out for it. But the only thing I'm looking forward to is the second that this lovely interview finishes, I've got to give a review of the new Conor McGregor documentary because it's already out now, and I'm about a week behind on delivering it, and I've got to do I've got to review the full Monty before it comes out in June. So Disney sent that over this week to watch all the series of Full Monty. So I've got to do that review as well.
Right.
And so that'll be fun.
Okay. So James said he will see you at Subterra.
Yes, you will.
He's also up for joining us on the Nemi marathon next year.
More the merrier.
See how many people can get on Nemi all day.
All day. It'll be like
don't take up the queue line, so we can't get above 64.
Exactly. We've got to have the same number of people per rows on that train or per seats on that train, and it'll be like an endurance test to see how many's left standing, like a last man standing type thing.
I mean, to be honest, I did get pretty dizzy. Like towards the end of it, I got dizzy.
Yeah, there was a funfair ride called Air Max that I went on at Bristol Thunder Park, and they put it on the proper settings. When it came to Stoke, they put it on reduced settings because obviously it's a built-up area. This one was in a field in Bristol, and they put it on the proper settings, and I come off, and I was like, I've just taken 10 years off my life. I felt awful. Yeah, so I think compared to that, I think Nemesis will be a walk in the park. Air Max was it was insane.
Yeah. I think it should be. Oh, he said he's looking forward. James is looking forward to the reboot of DC Universe by James Gunn. Are you looking forward to the DC Universe reboot by James Gunn?
James Gunn, funnily enough, do you know I was talking about the birthday messages? He was one of the guys who sent a birthday message when I was 21.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, and that was before everything blew up with Guardians and everything. This was when he was still, I think he was not long had made an independent horror movie around that time. And he was such a down-to-earth bloke, and he still is that same down-to-earth bloke. And when he took over for Guardians, it's in good hands. It's going to have love, it's going to have care, it's going to have attention. It's going to have, obviously, his brother's going to be involved. It's going to have that kind of family tie. It's going to have heart. And that's all you can ask for from a superhero film, because many a copy and paste now. Explode, fight, kill, bad guy, good guy. Whereas Guardians has this kind of togetherness that's quite rare.
Yeah, it's not like a family type thing, isn't it?
DC is normally very dark, isn't it? It's normally very dark. It's very gothic. It's very
DC is
So hopefully he brings a little bit of heart to proceedings with the darker undertones, and it could be special. I'm looking forward to seeing it. He's made some big calls already, and he hasn't been in the role that long. Looking forward to it, and hopefully he does it DC justice as he did with Guardians, because DC definitely needs some help at the moment.
They do, yeah. Because they've lacked behind, like with some of the stuff,
Yeah, Joker was my last favorite DC movie. I enjoyed Joker, but then before them was Dark Knight, which was how long ago? Yeah. Early 2000s.
Christopher Nolan had it dead on when he did the Batman trilogy 100%. Because 100%. The ones before I didn't like. There were too much of a joke, like a comic type. Yeah, not comic as in drawing, but as in like comedy Batman, and it wasn't that great. I think the best Joker that I know is Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
I think Heath Ledger is probably one of the best Jokers. Obviously, Jack Nicholson was pretty cool, but I think Heath Ledger is probably just a little bit better.
Yeah, because obviously, I think with Jack Nicholson's is a perfect villain for that cartoony-esque film that he was in. It was kind of the cartoony version. So he did that role perfectly. But Heath Ledger, he humanized the role of the Joker and brought him into the real world. It wasn't a comic book movie anymore. It was this dark, gritty, underworldy type scenario where he was kind of like the ringleader, crazy ring. And that performance is probably like one of the best cinematic performances of any superhero movie. Like to the point where you're overshadowing Batman, which is the star of the film. Your performance is that good. That, you know, you can't say more.
It made Christian Bale look a bit, even though Christian Bale was a good Batman.
Yeah, he was a great Batman, but Heath Ledger was just
another level.
Yeah,
it was another level. What did you think of the new Top Gun film?
Loved it because it had the nostalgia to the original. If you like the original, you're gonna love Maverick. The fact that Tom Cruise is still doing his own stunts now. They sent me the behind the scenes of the new Mission Impossible film. They actually filmed some scenes in Birmingham New Street Station, funnily enough, because I applied to be an extra, but I was flying away to somewhere. I could have been an extra in that movie.
In the new Mission Impossible?
Yeah, I could have done.
Wow.
Yeah, all I had to do was stay nice around the corner. But no, I can't remember. I was flying to somewhere. I think it was a theme park, and they were filming last year in Birmingham New Street Station. And it's just I saw some of the behind the scenes stuff yesterday on the press thing that they send out, and the stuff that he does. He's an absolute nut job. Like, he's the only action hero left that seems to do his own stunts.
He is, isn't he?
He's just going to carry on. When he's 80, he's still going to be jumping off cliffs and parachuting and flying his own fighter jets. It's crazy.
I mean, that obviously, some of that film, obviously, he was in the front of the jets. Obviously, he I don't think he had the license to fly the jets.
It was different planes, it was different planes.
But he's the jet that you see, the plane that you see him working on at the beginning, and the one he flies at the end is actually his.
Yeah.
So he actually flies that, and the Mission Impossible films are just unbelievable. But I love that new film. The way they tied it in with, like Goose and stuff like that, because Top Gun, the first Top Gun gives me chills, and the new one is even better. Like the Ed Harris thing, like they didn't even know that was going to happen. Like, you know, when he blew the building up with a jet, when it lifted the roof off, they didn't even know that was going to happen, which is mad.
He's spontaneous and he's nuts. Like when we went up to the Burj Khalifa, that's where they shot. Was it Ghost Protocol? He's got a scene where he's climbing up the side of the Burj Khalifa, and there was a whole video about how he filmed that. And I was like, just watching that clip alone, I was like, I respect him so much. He's a nutter, but you just have to respect it because he just gets stuff on film that nobody dares to do anymore. Everyone's like, "Oh, I can't do that. I need my stunt double," or "I can't.
I might hurt myself."
I can't do that. I might break a nail. Put some CGI on it. But no, Tom Cruise was there to smash it.
He is good. He is good. He is good. I don't think there's any more. I don't think. Just looking. Is there any more? If I don't think there's any more, I'm going to let Sean go because he's busy.
I've got a Conor McGregor documentary to watch.
Yeah. Right. So thank you very much, Sean.
No problem.
For joining me tonight. You've been amazing. Hope I'll see you in the parks at some point. Probably Towers, obviously.
Yes.
And I'd obviously definitely let me know when the museum opens, and stuff like that. And I'll definitely pop up and have a look. Fantastic. As soon as it opens, I'll definitely want to come up. If it's immersive, I definitely want to come and have a look.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it up to the standard where I want it to be when we're opening. If for anybody out there who's still watching, of course, still watching Museum of Horrors on YouTube, Museum of Horrors on Instagram as well. And we'll be sporadically adding content to the YouTube page to promote it throughout in the build up to us opening without giving too much away, of course. But I hope we can deliver an attraction that people are proud of, that not only just horror fans are proud of, but just film fans in general. And it'd be a really cool spot to have around the corner from the Haunted Museum. And appreciate you having me on and chatting to me all about pretty much everything, really, mate.
Pretty much everything. Yeah. I thought I had to cover everything. I was trying to get as much knowledge from you as possible, so I knew, I know you've a fountain of knowledge when you go to places and
Well,
stuff.
that's where you made the mistake. No knowledge from me, buddy. Nothing up here.
And obviously, yeah, and that's obviously definite date for 2024 at some point for
Yeah.
Nemi.
100%.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be at the opening day for Nemi, 100%. When that opens, definitely. I won't be for Subterra, but definitely for Nemi.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So thanks very much for joining me. I will catch you soon. And I'll see you later on. Bye. Bye, Sean.
See you later, mate. Ta-ra.
Bye. So that was Sean from Lifthills and Thrills. Thank you so much for joining the video. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been amazing having Sean on. Yeah, as I said, I'm going to get a link for his for the Museum of Horrors. I'll put it in. I will put it in the description below. It's not there at the minute because and obviously follow it on YouTube as well. So it's on YouTube and Instagram for updates on the Museum of Horrors. And Sean's amazing. Obviously, he's going back out to Dubai again, Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So that to the Warner place out there and to do that Harry Potter thing. That sounds amazing. Obviously, you've got Toro Rosso out there as well. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you everybody in the chat. You're amazing listening. I can't wait, obviously, for that challenge on Nimi next year. James Coaster Chicken, you're welcome. Anybody who wants to join me and Sean, we're going to go for above 64 rides in a day on Nemesis, the new Nemesis, when it opens. And by the sounds of things, he's keeping everything close to his chest about Nemesis, but it's going to be completely like it may be completely different to what it's like now, or what it was like. And yeah, so thanks for joining me. Don't forget to come and watch me tomorrow night. I have at 8 o'clock. I have Grumpy Theme Park Dude, and I have Poppy's Adventures, and we're going to talk about Jumanji tomorrow night on my normal time. So thanks everybody for joining the channel. As I said, go and check out Sean Lifthills and Thrills, and also his horror website, his movie. I'll put his movie site below, and the horror museum as well. Horror museum in Stoke. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for listening. Please go and check out Sean's channels as well. Check out his Instagram as well. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.